Welcome back to Gamers Without Borders, and we are now diving into the European bracket. On the one hand, we have two teams who are, no strangers to the spotlight here. On one hand, we have BDS, the behemoth, who are Gamers 8 2022 champions. But then on the other hand, we have a team who have definitely surprised us and played extremely well at the previous Copenhagen Major, MNM. Also one of the longest standing rosters that we have in Siege who are competing right now. We also have had a little switcheroo in the virtual studio because I am now joined by Jesse and Jacob. Jesse, I'm going to kick things off with you. Before I come to you, actually, we have an update from the Korea-Japan bracket where we can actually show you on your screens how our teams are faring and who's going to be playing in the grand final later. But Jesse, a pretty hectic start to the broadcast, wasn't it, between Sandbox and Crest?
It was, Banks, but it felt like a very fun game. We saw Sandbox and Crest go at it, as you mentioned. We heard Demo and Ollie casting that game. We were having a great time with it. Got to see Sandbox go through the other side of the bracket, Cyclops going through as well. So the big names really coming out on top here. Massive step-ups from those two squads, and they will be playing in the grand finals tomorrow, which should be a very fun game between Korea and Japan.
Yes, a best-of-5 battle tomorrow. We cannot wait. Jacob, good morning. Is it bright and early for you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, the sun of California is currently not shining outside of my window. We're still waiting for it to get past the overcast portion. But at least for right now, the morning doesn't matter, the time doesn't matter. It's about time for BDS to re-enter the fray in Rainbow Six because these guys haven't played a game in about a month. They are Gamers 8 champions, like you said, but they don't get the dignity of just being able to pass right through to the main event this time around. They have to fight for their spot, and if they want to go back and have an opportunity to defend that championship, they gotta do it against arguably probably the hottest team in Europe at the minute, and I don't envy them in the slightest.
Oh, I like the way you're setting this up. This is good. Right, let's have a quick look at the bracket for EU right now so that we can visualize our competitors before we progress. And also, we're going to see how simple this format is. As you've already seen on your screens, 2 semi-finals, followed by 1 grand final tomorrow, which is a best of 5. Jesse, for you, which of these 2 matches look particularly spicy? Obviously, we've got BDS going up against MNM, but also that B-Stream match as well.
Yeah, the B-Stream match would be all right, but this one I think is the one that people have been waiting for. Even including the games that we just saw from Korea, Japan, I think this is game of the day, BDS and MNM, because BDS are that Titan that we know so well who kind of fell off throughout stage 1, and then MNM playing the best Siege of their entire lives right now. This is a team that's been around forever, and they are finally achieving the heights that I know a lot of people have been wanting to see them hit. So yeah, I mean, this is the scary one. Wolves Wild will be good as well. I'm excited to see what Wilds can do. They're kind of a new team. But yeah, I mean, BDS, MNM, when you got the Titans going at it, that's what you want to watch.
Yeah, this is the one with the upset potential. I think if in any other circumstance, this was going to be a game where BDS were going to win every single time. But because MNM have been doing so well and in the context of Copenhagen, their highest result that they've ever hit in the org's history, they're already riding a streak of momentum. And if they're able to do that against BDS, who again haven't played a game in about 4 weeks, then I think we know which team's about to go all the way to Saudi Arabia.
Ooh, well, I guess the real question is, can MNM rise to the occasion? Historically, a bit of a challenge for this roster, right, Jesse?
Certainly. I mean, this is a team that's been to 5 kind of S-tier tournaments, majors, and 6 invitationals. They just finally, on their 5th, made it to top 8 for the first time, as Jacob was alluding to. And if they can qualify to this tournament, if they can win the bracket here today and tomorrow, that means that they will be going on to G8, which means that they will be in top 8 at another S-tier tournament. So they could make it back-to-back if they win this. Of course, it is a tough opponent to start things off, though. BDS, once upon a time, the best team in Europe, the best team in the world. Kind of going to be looking to see if they can bounce back, re-achieve that #1 status, but certainly at the moment, this is anybody's game.
Ooh, well, speaking of BDS and whether or not they're on form, whether or not they can rise to the occasion, Jacob's already said that, you know, we haven't seen them compete for 4 weeks. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. We had the opportunity to catch up with them earlier this week, and here is what they had to say.
BDS can be this big, scary team that are feared internationally. Shotgun, he's ready for this close-range engagement.
And lost the Psycho, and oh no, J-Lad, he took the case with him up there. Refall.
See the downfall of it all, Parker.
Brede, he's gonna get the plant. It's a 3 versus 4. Oh my, BDS!
Your champions of Gamers 8 2022, it's BDS!
Hello, I'm Likefak. I'm 19 years old and I'm a player from Team BDS. Before Team BDS, I was with 3-1 Skate in the French League, and for like 8 months, I'm playing for BDS in the European League. Shaco is the entry, BD is the support, and Renchi, LM, and me are the flex.
Respawn with 2 more to find. There is the 4th for Shaco. Only 1 left, and a Shaco ace on the end of the floor.
So coming in the team after BDS won the last Gamer 8, I feel confident because after I come, we won the major. We do a bad performance in six invitational and mistake on the last major, but we wait for this competition and we are ready to play the Gamer 8.
Last flashbang is Blur himself. KZ has a read. Blur needs to reposition. W7M take their first map.
I expect to be really good. It's W7M. They won the last major, so yeah, of course with KZ and the Hertz, like they can be really good, but we know how to play against them, so we are not scared. And I think Falcon can be a really good opponent again, like with the full roster, because in the majors they didn't play with the full roster. With the full roster now, they can be a really good opponent.
Your Rainbow Six Siege, Jönköping Major Champions, BDS!
I think the momentum from the major, Jönköping major, can be there again. Like Gamer 8 is a big competition and we wait this competition. So yeah, momentum will be there for sure.
This map right here, right now. SMG11 primed and ready. Decides it's time for the shotgun. He's going brawling. Are you kidding me? BDS take Clubhouse. They take the series.
So raising money with a good cause with Gamer 8, it feels really nice. Like to play with a good cause, you want to improve more and more. So it's really nice. For my fans, thank you for the message. Like we want to improve more day, every day to for you. And for the hater, the same. Keep going, guys. We like your message.
Leaky Fact of BDS. Now, there is a story for you, an absolute wonder kid coming into this roster, coming out of Gamers 8 when they had just won in 2022. What an absolutely incredible kid and furthering their success, Jacob.
Loving that when you have a guy like him who comes into a team and there isn't any previous tier 1 experience. He's able to make an instant impact right away, and it's phenomenal when he's able to do something like that on a big stage like a major. But everything else that BDS has been able to do since then has definitely fallen like far shorter of the mark than we would have expected. I wanted them to go directly to Copenhagen and start making some noise in a very similar way to the way that they did when they were on land back in Jönköping, but they haven't been able to keep up any sort of like relative momentum streak since winning that event. So Jesse, it's almost like if you win a major, suddenly you're cursed. It happens to literally every team. It might even happen with W7M in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough bringing in Leaky Fact. You know, he has been a great piece for this team, and I really think he's added to the depth for a long time. This was really the Shaco show. You know, we saw Shaco being the main point of entry, the main fragger for BDS, and now it feels like they finally do have a second guy in there to help out. So, you know, when things aren't going so hot for Shaco, they've got Leaky Fact to try to back him up. And when we look back at the stage 1 that BDS had, Shaco was actually the only player who was negative on BDS through the entirety of EWEL stage 1. He went 29-31, -1 overall. And now I've got his last 5 games that I wanted to highlight for you guys, right? These are the 5 maps that he played most recently, and these are actually every map that he played for the European LCQ. And you can see he started off really hot. Generally, Shaco is consistent. 16-10, 14-10, great. Then they played Wild in their next best of 3, 14-2 to start off that game. That was a 7-0 on Oregon, 13-11. But when things fall, they fall hard. We saw Shaco going down 5-11 KD on that final map on Cafe against Wild, and that was the most important map of the season for BDS because that was the one they needed to win to keep their lives alive in the last chance qualifier to go to the major. BDS, they didn't lose a lot of games, but the games that they did lose were crucial in making sure that they couldn't make it to the first major of the year. And so if we are going to see BDS in more of those really important maps, I need to see Shaco improving. I need to see Shaco playing well because it feels like when he is not there putting up the numbers, the team has struggled.
Got to put the numbers in when it matters most, for sure. Now, we've had a look at BDS. Now let's consider MNM for a moment, okay? A team that's been forever improving, like we've been talking about. But Solotov, the frag master, Jacob. You've got to go and talk about this guy because he's been putting up some serious numbers, right?
I do, but I also kind of have to call him a hard carry. Like, credit where credit is due. The numbers are phenomenal, but he is the lone reason why MNM has really been able to catapult themselves to a higher status as of late. Obviously, these are the numbers specifically just from the major in Copenhagen. He was the only player to crack above 200 kills for that event. MNM were also one of the teams that played the most maps out of almost any other squad, given how many times they had to play in BO3 scenarios just to get out of the playoff stage, to even make it to the bracket. So these stats, along with Yuzz's, absolutely makes sense, but he's right up there with guys like Nesk, Volps, and Herds. It's the Turk, one Brit, and then a couple of Brazilians. If that doesn't show you the exact kind of high company that Solotov's been in, Jesse, I feel like even if we take away the fact that he is right now the hard carry for this team, those numbers are just ridiculous.
Yeah, I really hope that we get to see Solotov pop it off. We're going to have fast style of pace from MNM because that's kind of what BDS have struggled with, right? I felt like when we did see them lose earlier in the stage 1 to both Wild and to Heroic really early on, felt like they were playing kind of rigid, like they weren't really adapting to the meta. MNM have thrived in this meta. Solotov's a huge reason why, and so I'm very excited to see what they can do against this French team.
Well, if you're at home watching this stream, just make sure that you tune in and make sure you keep your eyes glued on Solotov because we could see some absolutely outrageous plays throughout this next series. But we got the map vetoes that are going to come up onto your screen right now. Jacob, this is where the mental game starts, okay? This is psychological warfare. The veto, this is where it all begins. Are these good decisions? Break this down for us if you can, my friend.
Well, to border to Skyscraper to start things off with. I'm always down for maps that play completely opposite from one another for the most part, because these are, I think if we're talking about maps that are definitely more of a fast attacking pace one, border is obviously going to be a phenomenal place to start things out with because that's typically how you can play into it a lot more. And the fact that we do see like MNM wanting to go for that first, I think definitely speaks to the kind of playstyle we'll see from them to start off. For Skyscraper, I think it's a bit different because, Jesse, I'm specifically remembering their play from Skyscraper back during the Invitational. It was one or the other from what I remember. It was like maybe they'll be good on it, maybe they won't.
Yeah, MNM lost Skyscraper to BDS actually at SI. They're on a 4-game losing streak on Sky, so it's going to be shaky for them. They're going to be wanting to win their main map pick, of course. They've chosen Border. They've actually had a negative win record on Border. However, their losses that they had in Copenhagen were close, and then they did win it in Copenhagen over W7M in the quarterfinals. It was a big map for them. They love their dock on that map. They love to go swinging on Border, so definitely look out for that.
Well, I spoke to Fresh and Anne earlier today to get their predictions for this match. I won't touch on them too soon right now, but Jacob, I'll come to you first. What's your prediction going into this EU semi-final?
Look, I'd love to just pick BDS off the rip, and they've got the longevity. Obviously, they're the current champions of the whole event that we're trying to get them qualified for. But I do think MNM's hot streak is something you can't necessarily discount. It's all dependent on the way that the fraggers play, though. If Solotov and users are playing up to their typical standards, MNM should take this thing handily. But if they don't, BDS is a very, very bad team to underestimate, so we'll see.
Ooh, Jesse, are you in the same field? Are you leaning the same way?
I mean, it's difficult because we didn't get to see BDS play that many games, and they've had so much time to improve. I think if BDS are playing the way that we saw them towards the end of EUL, where they're rigid, they're slow, they're not adapting to the meta, this is MNM's game to lose. They should run away with this thing. But I got faith that BDS, they got a great coaching staff. They've got amazing minds behind that game. I have faith that they've worked on their game considerably. They're going to be coming in here guns a-blazing. I think BDS will take it.
I want to believe it, man. I really, really do. But I think the problem is BDS, they're supposed to be adapting or dying. And what they've done mostly over the past couple of months is just dying. This is a game where they need to be able to work around the changes that the meta is offering. And they haven't done that since they won the Jönköping Major. MNM right now feel like they're just a little bit more current.
Ooh, okay. Well, I can tell you that Fresh voted for MNM, let's say, and then Anne
of course
also said, and Anne said BDS. So we're a little bit of a split here in the studio. But we've said that all we need to say over here. Let's head over to Demo and X, who are going to take us into our EU semi-final.
Barney, thank you very much indeed. Welcome back, everybody. Demo and myself here to take you through this all-EU battle here. Demo, we have got MNM and we have got BDS, two cracking teams from Europe. We couldn't have asked for much more for this one.
Yeah, I'm happy that we got this one. Out of the two that we potentially could have gotten for the semis, we've definitely got the better one of the draw, because we've got BDS, who have been the most consistent team out of the past 2 years in this region. And they're up against a team which is, at the moment, Europe's best team.
Top dogs in Europe, MNM. Feels good to say. These two teams have faced off against each other multiple times in the past 7, to be exact. MNM currently edging that out 4 wins to 3. Obviously, that goes right back to the inception, back to 2019. So on a historical timeline, they've waged war quite frequently. However, recently, they didn't play each other inside of EUL, of course, because they were on separate groups. So the last time that they played was actually at Invite 23. BDS getting a 2-1 win over the Marshmallows. Border was played there.
That was an elimination, wasn't it?
MNM won in the series.
That was to knock MNM out of that competition.
It was.
After their horrendous, I don't know, fantastic first 4 days for MNM, and then the next 2 were just, no.
Yeah, flawless in groups is great.
Yeah.
But then when you
8-7, 8-7, lost the oxygen.
Yeah. You've got to make it work. So let's see what we get coming on into Border now. Bans locked in. Dokkaebi, Iana, Azami, and Mira. You can breathe a sigh of relief at this point, Demo, because normality has resumed.
Normality? When is Siege ever normal?
I mean, it's more normal in Europe than it is in Japan and Korea.
Look, after the last game, I just want this to be just a game that a feast for the eyes. That's all I want.
I think it will be, though, won't it?
I hope so. I'd expect so. Obviously, BDS has been out of shape for a while. Obviously, didn't go to the major.
I've got a big theory about BDS, and it ties in with them not going to the major. No, listen to me.
Here we go.
So I was in Copenhagen, and I was speaking to T-Chub's coach for NIP. And we were chatting, and I was just saying, how are you getting on? Are you managing to find scrims? The scrim quality in Europe's usually pretty good. What's been going on? He said, been scrimming BDS quite a bit.
10 seconds left.
So, obviously, all the teams come from all over the world to Europe, and then the European teams that aren't at the major still get the benefit by being able to scrim teams from all over the world. So BDS have essentially had the run of their teeth over this last 2 or 3 weeks of scrim partners from all corners of the globe. And with this being the only competition in their sights currently, they've got no excuses, Demo. I'm expecting to see a terrifying BDS today.
However, they're playing a European matchup. This is not as if it's international. They're up against a team that they should know. So I think no matter, who they've been scrimming, whatever it is, both these teams have played each other so many times. What is this, like their 8th or 9th time going up against each other? No excuse.
7th time. 8th time.
8th time, yeah. So they've played plenty of times. They know each other oh so well. And the thing is about these two teams don't really make changes. In the past, year, there's been, 1 change on each team? That's been it.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Yeah, it's not been long. I think Jacob said in the pre-des that MNM were like one of the longest standing, or the longest standing team currently. I think they're certainly up there. Absolutely. Tyrant going to kick things off here with a nice kill onto Renshiro. That Lion Scan being brought, of course, instead of the Dokkaebi, as Dokkaebi has been banned. But Tyrant, he's going to get felled from goodness knows where.
Feet holes. They made feet holes in security, and then they used the doorway just to prone inside a cubby and kill him.
A fluffed nade from below from Nath as well.
Look at this. This is my kind of plant. This is the staple. However, I think we're probably missing, some kind of sound cover. This is where the Yings need to go in. Ash going to bait out the C4. That's the C4 gone underneath. There is still the warden that they have to go through, but Nello doesn't really have as much HP as what he would like to almost tank that. There goes the warden. C4 is gone. This should be the plant, but Soltov has to ult to do the sprint across. Now it's Nello in 1v2. There's no shot he can win this here. Yeah, gets caught out. MNM just didn't have enough cover. They lost the player on the window, on Vince's window. That was the key position, Ollie.
Unfortunate there from MNM. Nath was trying his best from below. You look at what was left in pocket there as well. There was still a couple of smoke grenades knocking around. Now, it wouldn't have necessarily been the difference, but would have been nice to see the full plan there come through. I felt like it was maybe a bit of a rushed attempt there from MNM to get that execute off. It's one that every team almost has their own little way of doing things with some small, minute details as to how they're going to deal with the C4 from below. Are they going to pressure in onto sandwich window, for example? There's tons of different permutations for doing that take. MNM unsuccessful in the initial round. They're going to have a chance now down at ventilation and workshop.
They will. They will indeed, BDS. They'll be happy with that first round, even though the diffuser went down. As long as they get the round win, that's all that matters. One thing has to be said about MNM is, you know, right from the get-go, it's their style of siege. You know, they're not changing anything. This is what we come to expect. I think BDS, pretty aggressive. You know, actively looking to take the fights from below. I believe that they actually sent someone downstairs from the get-go to try and, like, challenge the players with C4s, and you could see that BDS, they were all ganging up on the single player. I think little small, you know, kills that happen here or there for BDS is something that is always going to benefit them. Like, for example, I think it was whoever jumped in security, I forget who it was that died, but, you know, little cheeky picks like that, that's, you know, very essence of BDS, where they'll find these little kills that have such a massive impact, even though you wouldn't think it, but they do. You know, losing a Lion in an almost rush attack, yeah, massive.
BDS are cracking at cleaning up those sort of messy players that are here, there, and everywhere. They have a great knack, like you say, for finding those couple of key picks. And it's in part due to the way that they play. You know, they've got Shaiko, they've got Leaky Fact. Both of them are going to be playing out there on that roam, enabled by the utility around them. And knowing that they've got players left that can be relied upon. Tyrant this time going to be on the sledge. It was Nathan round number 1. Going to be trying to get some nade action going. Solotov just checking out there inside a CCTV. Gonna hop himself on in now. Another Lion scan here to cover any sort of push that might need to be made. Tyrant has heard the player just got. That's a hacked drone right there. There's going to be a bit of droneception coming in here. Another drone captured. Tyrant playing incredibly patiently here. I think he knows that there's 2 players inside of there. Picks the first onto Shaiko and just dips himself out for the time being. Keeps his life and keeps himself safe. Great entry kill there.
Lack of info from BDS. Have no idea that someone is so close inside of customs. There's Solotov. He finds his entry, doing what he does best, and that is just killing. You know, what a performance has to be said from Solotov at the major. Massive player for them. And he's continuing that streak. Nello gets in the action. That's a 5v2. A minute 10 to go. There's Bride. Can never count him out to find a kill here or there, and this is what BDS are really good at. Even though things look tough, you still would fancy him to have a good go at maybe retaking this.
They've got a lot of time on the hands. Nello's going to start to try and get the plant down. Bride is going to be above. Alems shuts that down. No option for a trade. 3 versus 2, and still top floor control firmly in the hands of BDS. They don't need to worry because they've got access to all these lines of sight into sight. Usus is now taking a ton of damage as he looks to try and challenge on, and nade does go up, but it isn't going to be successful. Usus ideally needs to win this engagement along with Tyrant, but it's a horrible angle to challenge onto. Tyrant now, he didn't pick up the kit, Demo. This is a mess. Usus eventually shuts the Lems down from above, but Bride can just fill the gap. Why has this player not been pushed so far? God only knows. The plant will go down. Nath, eventually.
I'm going to have a word with him. Like, what's he doing?
The fact that that door isn't open.
He's selling his team down the river like Moses in a basket.
How much do you think he got for him?
Who's paid this man?
What, a claim of a paid actor?
Honestly. Like, Solotov's sitting there getting rinsed from above.
Shouldn't have taken that long. Should not have been that bad.
Like, Nello defuse went down. Like, Uses is trying to, like, jump for the window and he's getting shot at from above and Nathan just standing there. Oh.
Goodness me. Goodness me. Maybe we are back in Japan, Korea.
Honestly.
Maybe we did just...
Do you know what's the biggest issue? The biggest issue that I have with MNM is that they're a team that I do not trust. They're a team that I do not trust.
Example of why?
They're the only team in the world that no matter what position they're in, they will lose it. Because they've done it. Any way you can lose a round, MNM have lost it. Is that not facts?
I think a lot of teams have done that, though.
No, but it's these guys specifically where they consistently do it every game. I've never seen a team that make... Whenever you look at MNM, when do you ever see MNM go in and have an easy 7-0?
But that's why they're entertaining to watch, because you know it's not going to be a straightforward game.
Yes, sure, from our
perspective. It's going to be a roller coaster. For the viewers, it's fantastic, Demo.
That's great for the viewers.
There's that emotional roller coaster.
But for me, I hate it, because I just don't trust the team. They can be in a 5v1, they can win it.
Keeps you young.
I don't want that. I don't want that. I just want to win. Just win.
Potential wall going to get opened here. Solotov knows that there's a player there. Does just get a quick glimpse over onto Shaiko. Shaiko not wanting to give himself away so easily. He is feeling the pinch, though. I mean, turn you back to the wall, you're going to get shot. Solotov pushes on in, successfully picks up the entry. It's another entry kill here for MNM. They've been very successful in that stat line so far. Great shot from LeakyFag. Fades away through the hatch like nothing happened. Alems with an aggressive swing as well. Shuts Nath down. Users is there for the trade. Stems the bleeding for now. 3 versus 3. You've lost a lot, though. You've lost your IQ. Potential for Valkyrie cameras to still be kicking around. And you've also lost your surprise factor, your disruption. You've lost that Ying.
All players from BDS have retreated. I think they're happy to at least recover that round. That's what we mentioned before, Ollie, is that they're good at just getting these kills and then they're gone. And they've done that. They've hit them where it hurts. Like you mentioned before, the Ying, yeah, massive operator to eliminate. For MNM, it's a little bit different because I think they're going to have more opportunities now, like actual vertical play, which they didn't really before. You know, Nathan, for example, just kind of sat outside. They weren't actually interested in taking armory. They just wanted to execute by holding above, but not really, like holding it, but not with inside armory, holding it outside of armory, which does the same job essentially. So they can go for a more vertical approach, which will give them more stability. But BDS playing it very smartly, not looking to dump a lot of people in the bomb site. They're ready for the retake. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing players push up metal here. I would not be surprised. Here we go. Or maybe not. Okay, it's a custom party.
When she certainly thought about it for a moment, especially as Tyrant gets in and starts to do some work from above. MNM recognizing that the vertical was where they really struggled last round, so they're making sure that that isn't a problem now. But you've got to remember, you're opening all these holes with 20 seconds left. The defenders, they can just vacate the site. They can get themselves out of dodge and potentially sneak back around and use that against you. Capcan's going to be the end of Nello as the diffuser now will be recovered. Tyrant left to try and get it down. Users, you can only look in one direction, but it's the right one. Picks one, finds the second. Look at him go. Picks up all 3. Tyrant getting the plan down. Users cleaning shop. Does get down, but who cares?
Oh, he's so good, isn't he? Mr. Consistent, as always. Honestly, I think for the past year, I think honestly since he's joined the league, he's always had a good game, has he not? It's so... I think I've seen him have a bad game maybe once or twice. Every other time, Ollie, you know what you're going to get.
The thing is, you know what you're going to get with a lot of MNM, to be honest with you. A lot of them are very consistent.
I think Tyrant has his spells.
Tyrant has his spells.
I think Nath can be... I mean, Nath is a go big or go home. And I think the perfect example was the game against W7M.
I mean, Nath's already missed today from you anyway because of what he did to... What he did on the round.
Honestly, I think Solotov and Users are top 5 players in Europe right now. I don't think it's even a question. I really don't.
Definitely up there. Users currently sitting at 5 and 1.
Has to be. Has to be.
Excited then. We had Namaru, but it's since been 6 picked off. Looks like Nath is going to opt for the 0 instead.
Oh, do you know what? Like, one thing I've noticed about you, you want just the Chaos Ops to come out. Like, if you see a Capcom or a Mario, you're like, oh, yes! And I'm like, oh, here we go. That just shows where our heads are at.
But it just makes for... I mean, I look at this lineup and I go, there's no hard breach. So it is what it is. You don't necessarily...
Sometimes I feel you do it for badness, just to me. I feel as though you do it just because it's...
No, but I saw the Amaru and I was like, oh, we're going to see someone like Amaru win through Sandwich and, you know, maybe do something that way.
Oh, the classic wild strat and then a frost match is there. Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
Someone just do a little Hungry cosplay. Why not?
Speaking of Wild and Wolves are currently playing on the other stream, everyone. Get them both up. Dual monitor, people. Let me hear you. Get them both up.
Or just stay here.
or watch both.
MNM currently 2-1 up here. Now, they did struggle with this top floor site. Solotov getting a good bit of damage there in onto Leaky Fact from below.
They have a dock.
They do, but they also have a nade.
Oh,
Doesn't manage to find it. Tyrant.
Silva's getting naded here.
Just doesn't hold on for as long as necessary, but I mean, 4 nades for 1 kill.
4 nades! I mean, that's not too bad. That's compared to what we've seen earlier. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Very much so. And it's an important player. That's the dot gun. Think of the value you can get. So BDS have to be more careful in terms of what gunfights they go for. They can't have the same aggression as what they would like to, knowing that they could just quickly run back, get stimmed up, and are ready for another battle. Solotov, he's done this a few times. All he just jumps in towards security and finds the pick. Down goes EFAC, and Solotov still fighting. Again, those are the same angles that were used against his teammates in the first round. MNM cleaning up house, Ollie.
It's fantastic to see how focused they are in this roam clear. They know exactly where BDS are going to be playing, and they're just not committing further than they need to. We've got a minute left on the clock, and it's a 5 versus 2. A couple of players are a little bit low on the side of MNM, but it isn't too much to worry about. We do have BD with a C4, so you've got to argue that given the opportunity, that's good for 1. But Shaiko is looking a little bit vulnerable here. Currently inside a small, just going to give himself another line of sight to work with. Maybe deter users from pushing on through, waiting for the Flores drones to move ahead and do their job. Got to keep your eyes on Nello in this situation, because as the clock continues to tick, we might be in a situation where that diffuser does need to go down. Shaiko now going to start to feel the heat, gets droned, and users is going to be there to collect. Bride caught out inside a fountain. He had multiple angles to check, and unfortunately for him was checking the wrong one. A flawless round here from MNM.
Yeah, clinical. Has to be said, and Solotov, he started it and he finished it, didn't he? He jumped in, security got control of that side, and then was able to rotate, hit them in the backstab. Yeah, they're looking dangerous today. Apart from, really, honestly, even the first round, it was close from MNM. BDS, that's a few times now, Ollie, where they've they choked 1 round where they had a massive man advantage, and then that's 2 rounds where they just couldn't keep up with the numbers game.
Attackers need to locate and
weren't getting the refrags in.
It can be a big problem as well. You know, if you let a couple of kills slip on border, it can be very difficult. There's so many angles that you need to be mindful of. And if you've not got your teammates around you to cover those crossfires, a team like MNM are going to pick you apart quite quickly. And I think, you know, you could look at a number of different players there just for the patience that they exhibited. We've got Tyrant and Solotov below making work with the nades. They were willing to send everything after that to get that 1 kill because they recognised just how important it was. Solotov rotates out, gets himself into CC, picks himself 1, and then just keeps himself alive until the end of the round and walks in and finds the last kill. The patience is unmatched.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
New site. Down into bathroom tellers we go, Ollie. And this is one of those bomb sites which you can hit it really fast. Like, how many times have we seen blitzes and yings and all come out for this attack? Goyo has made a massive rise just because of that. If you're going here, you have to bring the Goyo these days just because the rushes are so potent. Reason being is there's a specific drone hole in bathroom you can roll your yings into, which just covers the entire bomb site. It's absurd. You can do it from outside. You don't even put yourself at risk. So you need some form of denial just to keep the attackers away from doing those rushes.
MNM are doing a really good job of using this lion scan to cover things that are going on elsewhere in the map.
Doing a good job with the DMR.
The entry there. I've seen a couple of times now. MNM love a DMR.
Love a DMR.
Solotov will play it, users will play it. It just shows how hard hitting that weapon can be.
Do you know what the thing is, though, right? Playing rank with Solotov, and he goes, Josh, I don't know how you can use this stinky DMR, and then he's just getting kills with it. He's a I don't know. Solotov he's either here or there, just with his comments. I don't know.
Is that just a casual flex to say that you play ranks with these guys?
Excuse me, I knew them whenever nobody knew them. I think I can have that, you know, allegiance. I don't see them as MNM. I just see them as people who troll my elo. It's different.
We're going to see the Rotero drones put to good work now and opening up some of these castle barricades. Nello himself in above. Maybe just waiting for a little bit of support here. We do know that there's still somebody on the top of those east stairs. Nath may be going to go to challenge onto this. It'd be nice if he waits for someone else to come with as well, but instead Shaiko is just going to give himself away. Just gets caught out. Tyrant, he's going to double down. Finds one onto Bride. Renshiro now going to push in through. Tyrant picks one, can't find the second. Renshi, he's going to juice himself up. Lion scan, so he's rooted in place, but look at the task. He might be Doc, he might have a few stim pistols of health, but when they're going down and you're up against 4, it's never going to be straightforward. With this plan to Loud, it almost cements the round here for MNM. All that happens is one player's got to hop themselves outside. Solidsoft gets banged through the smoke, but that is going to happen at this point. Upside down repel is going to be now impossible to deal with at this point. Every pre-fire Renshi does telegraphs his position just a little bit more. Looks as though there's no information available on the site for him. Player proned. Maybe thinks the stud just on the other side, but he's really clutching at straws here. Patience is key, and patience is shown. Usus finds the final kill, comes out of the bathroom. A little bit of DMR action. Never in any doubt that MNM were going to take that round.
Dangerous. They're here to play today, Ollie, has to be said. I mean, Shaiko isn't here today, and I think that's a massive issue for this team. We know Shaiko is
it always has been.
He's the oxygen for this team.
Yeah.
He is. And if you cut off that supply, what happens?
It has always been the BDS way, and it's not to say that no one on the side of BDS can frag out. We know that they can. Leaky Fac, he can do it. Renshi has his days. Alems, he can definitely do it. Even Bride. If Bride's getting the kills, there's a bit of a problem usually. But when Shaiko's sitting 1 and 5,
and it's one of those games where a lot of the engagements that we've seen him have, he hasn't even really had a fair gunfight.
He's not had a fight, has he? No.
A few times where, you know, one where he's in break room and he turned us back at the wrong moment.
Yeah.
Trying to rotate out of east, gets shot by the guy in passport. You know, you have to be fair, you look at it from that side, is he hasn't really had a chance yet.
Yeah.
But as it stands, they've dropped 4 rounds because of it.
If I was BDS, I would be steering very clear of break room, because that is where the opening kill comes from 9 times out of 10. And MNM have been devastating in and around that area. Let's see what the plan is this time.
Again, this Lion is just a staple pick for MNM on Border, isn't it, Ollie? Not a lot of changes in that department. But, I mean, as much as we can sit here and speculate, MNM had a great Border on Friday against W7M. Not even a week ago, they had a fantastic performance in this map. They'll feel great going into this game against BDS. I would say flip the script about 6 months ago, you would have favored BDS all day of the week.
Oh, absolutely.
We always have to go on who's on form. Right now, MNM are the team on form.
It's not just that. MNM are on tournament form as well. They've just played in a major. That's a
the team that gave. They are the team that gave W7M the hardest game, and they won the whole thing with ease.
That's a different level of form to sat at home with the run of your teeth and who you want to scrim. Scrimming form's great, but these guys are in major form at the moment, and it is showing. Leaky Fac feeling the pressure. Nello actually going to chase after that. A couple of pings coming out from the Lion scan, but only health has been removed. Shaiko this time opens up with a kill onto Tyrant. Gets himself in the action. No immediate trade, although Nello is in passport.
Shaiko. They should know about him. You'd hope so. Minute 20. They've definitely redirected all of the defenders into where they want them to be, which is just downstairs, not upstairs, causing issues. So they should be in a good position to get that sledgehammer working. But Solotov is just waiting for the confirmation, waiting for the drones to come in. And he will continue with the verticality. Now if you're MNM, you've lost a player, but you've got what you wanted. You've got the upstairs control. Solotov gets a kill back using the verticality, which we've mentioned before. And right now, if you look at the position of BDS, there's 2 players locked in bathroom only, and they can't really go anywhere.
Yeah, MNM are still doing a good job of funneling these players. We've got Solotov working above here. Usus, he doesn't miss. Picks himself up 1. Couple of kills come back though. This could be time for BDS. 34 seconds left. Nello in a great position to cut these players off, but being the one holding the diffuser, he actually needs to make that rotation. Users instead going to try and hold up onto the top rafters. Some great information exchanged here. And Nello somehow managed to get the plant down on a soft wall. Brede now going to look to try and make his way in as users. He's going to pick a fight with Alems. Nello finds Brede, and this is going to be a fantastic clutch here if MNM pull it off. Nello gives the game away, and it's all left to users. He knows information. He knows where Alems was last seen, and Alems is only one shot. Users crouch walking his way through. He was wandering, Demo. He was just looking to see what he could find by chance.
Honestly, the positioning of this guy is incredible. That pick, this pick right here, incredible game sense. Incredible. Knowing that your team got mangled upstairs by a retake, knowing that at least one's going to linger somewhere, brilliant, brilliant. Has to be said. That's what can you say? What can you say?
It was nearly an MNM classic, honestly. When Nello died, then I thought, that's it.
I don't know why Nello peaked.
Yeah.
No idea.
I mean, you got the info for users. Users is 10-1.
I'm telling you, like, Jacob can sit there and highlight Solotov, but I'm telling you, he's the real McCoy. It's
Solo Solotov.
It's the way he is. Yeah. Users is just, he does everything. He does. He is your classic, just midfielder. He does everything on the pitch.
Builder.
It's the way he is.
Incredible.
BDS, I'm worried.
Oh, BDS
I'm massively worried because they're not winning in gunfights.
A 5-1 split. We've got users getting 2 kills per round. This is worrying times ahead for BDS, who, by the way, are last year's champions at Gamers 8.
Yeah.
Fighting for a spot to go back there and to do the same again.
Like, this is the thing with MNM. This is them at their best, where you have the front three going at it, Tyrant, Solotov, and Usus. And then if you're Nathan Nello, this is the best case scenario because realistically, Nathan Nello just put their feet up.
Well, they can't put
that's where they're happy.
Yeah, they've just not got to make any serious errors, and
haven't had to do anything.
The game's going to be fine. Nello's got the plan down a few times. Nate's got a couple of important kills.
That's it. If that's all they need to do, they're doing well. If your whole objective is you're here to plant, you know, there's people doing other things that, yeah, that's the way I look at it. It's a joy to watch. Joy to watch this team right now.
People have won world championships on less demo. Leaky fact.
That is a fact.
Gonna try for this up nade here. Not sure if he has active info. The ping looks a little bit old. Shaiko again, that entry death. Usus takes a chunk of damage, but it isn't going to be enough to deter him. And, well, Solotov is there to pump him back up. A lot of focusing around this break room door. The same level of focus that really MNM paid to it, but on the flip side, on the defense, MNM are taking a slightly different approach. They've got some Aruna gates here.
They're doing a surprisingly good job at holding down break room security whenever Azami's banned. You know, Azami and security is untouchable, and the fact that they're still able to hold it here, wow, it's impressive. Look at this shield that looks in towards east. However, a double pinch comes in, one comes up the stairs. Renshiro does slip past. Nobody's watching that rotate. That's a bit of an issue. Whoever it is, I think, is it Nello in sight? Maybe should have been holding that for him, but that's a slip. Tyrant goes down. Minute 10, Usus is there with the DMR. Good refrag though from EFAC. And now we're in a 3 versus 3 ollie.
Stabilized for BDS, I think, is maybe the key word here. They've managed to gain a little bit of ground and haven't given too much away in the process. They've still got ability to get themselves into sight. They've still got a couple of hard breach gadgets available if they need.
Look where Diffuser is. All the way over there.
He's in the hands of Leaky Fact, but he's had to go and recover it. Solotov is going to shut Renshiro down, and this is really the danger zone. Leaky Fact feels like he's being spotted as well.
He needs to rotate to them. He needs to rotate to his team. He has Diffuser. What are they going for, Ollie? Brittany's on Sandwich Rappel.
There's not a lot of team left, Demo, as the players continue to get cut down. Nate picks up the final 2. Leaky Fact, you can't just walk in through beepers and expect to rappel in through Sandwich to work, unfortunately.
What were they?
It isn't. MNM. Map point. So early on inside a border. Strap yourselves in because we all know how things sometimes go for MNM. But I don't believe that today is that day.
Oh boy, what do you say? This is just the momentum. There is no 2, I think.
Oh, I think that Leaky Fact maybe asked for a timeout, but I'm not sure if he asked too late or not.
Oh. Well, we did have timeouts earlier.
We did have timeouts in the first game, so timeouts are definitely a thing. So we'll see if we get an admin decision on this.
They should have. I mean, if they've called for it, they should definitely have it now.
I don't know what the ruling is as to what second you've got to call it by in the pick phase. You can't call it right at the end and expect it to come through, but it was there when we came back off the replays, but then we came back at like 5 seconds. I'm not sure where it was, but we'll get a decision made on that and potentially
we'll get the VR team in, see what the checks are like.
Just want to blow a whistle.
The thing is for BDS is I just feel as though, like, you know the way we usually say, oh, it's okay, they can bounce back into the second map, third map, it's not over yet. See, whenever there's this kind of performance coming out of the first map, there's no way you can see them winning like another map.
It almost doesn't
It's
matter.
different if it's close.
Yeah.
It's different if it's close. But the fact that this is just such a dominating performance, this is a quick 2-0. You know the way we see quick 2-0s where it's just so one-sided? This is what it feels like.
I've got it down that Skyscraper is a very low preference map for BDS, and it isn't a map that they're very good at.
I mean, I remember BDS were like a very poor Skyscraper team. I remember whenever they played against G2 back in Stage 3, and it was horrendous.
I've also got it down that it's quite a good map for MNM, and they've got quite a good preference
play that,
for it. So we will see. It looks as though we're rapidly approaching as a couple of kills have already flown in. Nath has fallen. Renshi and Alem's both gone out of action as well. A Frost being employed this time just to further add pain and suffering along with a Capcan. You can already see what that's doing to Shaiko, just forcing him to make sure everything's double and triple checked. Brede, surely you're not just going to go for a bit of a hop in here. The Candela's being sent through would indicate that that's on the cards. Vertical control is here and available, and Leaky Fact, that silent step active, is not going to be heard. Takes Nello down.
Still one player above. It's going to be Tyrant, and almost gets finished off by Shaiko. Almost gets them through the wall. They know where he is. He's stuck in Fountain now. Shaiko, just take your swing, mate. Just take your kill, because it is waiting for you, Tyrant. He's playing it well, though. He's wasting more time. BDS a little bit fickle, Ollie, to really go for the push.
Yeah, BDS look a little bit timid here, but I guess you would be, aren't you? You know, you're going up against already map and sit map point. Tyrant going to swing through, find himself one, get finished off. Usus, he's had a cracker so far, 11-2. Can he finish this? Gets the glimpse, but isn't able to land the shot. Knows that there's one above and is gifted. Maybe finds the second. No, the Capcan, Nath! You said he had an easy game, Demo. You said he had to put his feet up. All he had to do was place the Capcan, and Usus is going to do the rest. A 7-1 victory here for MNM on our first map of the series. What a performance. I had no clue it was going to be that convincing.
Dismantled. When was the last time you seen BDS get beat that hard?
I can't remember.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Off the top of my head, I cannot remember a time I've seen BDS get 7-1 in that sort of a fashion. Unbelievable performance from them. These guys haven't slowed down at all since Copenhagen. If anything, they have sped up just a little bit. The confidence that they were coming in with, the teamwork that we saw exhibited, everyone was pulling in the same direction. And then cherry on the top is the performance from Usus. I cannot wait to hear what our desk is going to say about that one. Before that, we're going to cut to a very short break, and then we'll be back before we break down map 1 and set up for map 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
Every day, it feels like there is a new crisis. Families displaced by violent earthquakes and wars. Warm hearts sleeping under cold blankets of stars. Lives destroyed and washed away. Families fleeing into the unknown. But look closer. See the hope everywhere. See the ones running towards disasters to help. Compassion exists all around the world. Kindness is healing wounds bringing hope for a brighter tomorrow. Look closer and see the many families like Layla's who've lived through unimaginable hardships and yet haven't given up. Please don't give up on those forced to flee. Donate now.
Did you know that 80% of a human's brain is developed by age 3? That's such a narrow period of time which will have lifelong consequences. Not only on one child, but whole societies, the whole world. That's why we chose UNICEF at Gamers Without Borders, because they are there for children every step of the way. From early childhood until they enjoy their rights to health, education, protection, and more to grow up and thrive. Choosing UNICEF is the right thing and the smart thing to do, and you can join us.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
Welcome back to Gamers Without Borders. One map down in our EU semi-final, and MNM have taken an early lead. Jesse, we spoke about him earlier, Solotov. He's doing a lot, but who's doing the most? Usus. I mean, wow.
Yeah, what an incredible performance coming in from Usus. We saw the kill death ratio there, 12-2. Man could not lose a gunfight today. Really was taking it well against BDS. Slamming him so far in this matchup. Had 100% cost as well. Solotov right there with him. You know, there wasn't a single round where these two were not contributing. That's percentage of rounds where they're having an impact. 100% is a rare sight to see. So that's fantastic coming in from Solotov, coming in from Usus. Both of them having a massive impact. Unfortunately, the other side of things, there's not such great numbers. Every single player negative. The star player that we even highlighted in the pre-show, Shaiko, not showing up at all.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you, Jacob, you know, who needs to step it up again from BDS, but I feel like the scoreboard shows it all, and your face says it all.
Look, man, this is one of the first times I've ever actively rooted for a team to lose a map in, like, as fast as humanly possible, to just be able to move on to whatever the next thing is, because this thing was bloodbath from start to finish. I think right around round 4 is when I said, you know what, if they just lose this one quickly and move on to Skyscraper, that's probably the best case scenario for them, because there were 3 different opportunities where BDS had a man advantage in an execute scenario and then lost the thing outright. They were up or they were tied in man count. They had the opportunity to win several more rounds than this, and they threw time after time after time. And it doesn't help that guys like Shaiko were entry death more often than not being able to make an impact for the rest of a round. MNM were droning, they were hunting, and when they made things work, it was over in a split second, dude. It's just, this is not the kind of performance you ever want to see.
There were 2 separate rounds where MNM are planting 2v3, so it's an effective 1v3, right? One guy's got to cover, the other guy is like forced to put the kid on the ground. And instead of like working together, trying to get a trade onto this last guy, find that pick, make it like an isolated 1v2 or 1v3 towards the end of it, everybody on BDS just lost their brains and sprinted at the guy planting, which meant the one guy covering had an easy triple kill to be able to pick up, winning those post plants. It felt like it was really, really discoordinated. BDS were not doing well in those late rounds. So there's a lot to work on, and we're going to see a better show from BDS on map 2 if they don't want to go home early in this tournament.
Yeah, a difficult map to watch for the Shaiko fans out there. But, you know, BDS's map pick next coming up. We've got Skyscraper. I mean, Jacob, a bit out of character for them, or, you know, something that maybe they've just been scrimming a lot?
A map that I definitely think MNM should be afraid of, considering they have not won this map in a pretty decent amount of time, and the last time they played it in recent memory, the time that matters, that everyone's gonna like actually recall is when they lost it to Fury at the Copenhagen Major. Again, a team with 0 expectations that is not up to the same amount of skill factor, and they still lost to them on it. And I like the fact that BDS are opting for a map that, in spite of losing Borders super heavily, we could also probably see a 7-1, 7-2 swing in BDS's favor and then go to a map 3 just because of the way that this particular map plays out for both squads. So I'm honestly fine with it.
Oh, so Skyscraper technically not a bad map for BDS, but a bad map for MNM. So they're kind of, that's what they've got. That's the angle that they're going for. We've also got another recap for you, and this is for you, Jesse. I want you to take us through this because we've got a little replay loaded up. And this is from a performance from Shaiko, I believe, from this last map that we just saw.
Exactly, and this is something that I saw multiple times I wanted to highlight for you guys. This is twice in a row where we see Shaiko playing on the Mozzie and still struggling against these drones. Look at this, he's got a drone. He's hacked one of these 2 drones. The drones meet, one of them gets shot out, but still he doesn't have the information to know where Tyrant is at. He just sprints on out. The awareness not there from Shaiko, playing that Mozzie, losing on the information game, really struggling in that round. And then round number 5, the exact same thing happens. Nafe gets a drone in, he spots out Shaiko. Shaiko finds the drone, he seems to be aware, but still wide swings out, not aware of the passport door. Nafe's able to take him out. That's twice in a row where I saw Shaiko really struggling on the intel, despite the fact that he's playing that Mozzie, playing that intel. I want to see him having a better time with that intel game, because when he's constantly getting caught off guard like that, when he doesn't have anybody to trade him, he's down early and it's an instant man disadvantage favoring MNM.
I mean, obviously, anytime Shaiko performs well statistically, BDS is going to follow in his wake and be able to do decent in a map. But I still think the primary problem is when he's dying first. There was one round where it looked like BDS might be able to claw back a 4-2 half, and he's not the first death. He finds the first kill and actually gets to leave with his life intact for most of the rest of the round. But what happens after? BDS still throws. So even if Shaiko is alive, closer to the execute time where MNM are actually in the middle of crunch trying to get a diffuser, user down, it may not matter. The longer Shaiko is alive, the higher chance BDS actually have of winning a round. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to the most in map 2.
Oh, I like that. When your top fraggers aren't performing, it has a significant impact. We can see it from both of these teams, let's say. But we're going to see these players who have been stepping it up a gear, because we've got our head-to-head graphic that we're going to show for you right now. And it is for the best players from that map. Of course, we have users on one side. You know, Jacob, take us through this. Alems on the other.
Look, man, I'm all for Yuzes getting his accolades, because this was a phenomenal performance. But when the best player on the opposite side is somebody with only a 75% cost with that kind of statistical performance, it does speak volumes about the way that BDS have been performing so far. Again, I was totally fine if BDS were just out to lose that map as fast as humanly possible to then be able to move on to Skyscraper. And I still firmly believe that these kinds of performances can be switched on map 2, where Alems could be having this style of performance again, and maybe Yuzes isn't performing nearly as hot, because that is just how Skyscraper works for both squads. So if you want to cast map 1 into the fire, that's totally fine, but BDS need to be able to showcase something far different on map 2. Otherwise, this thing is going to be over, and they will not have the opportunity to defend their championship this year.
Okay, okay. Yeah, go for it.
I wanted to say, Alems seems to always kind of have a good time against MNM. I recall back to that 7-0 where they beat them on Cafe at Invite last year, and Alems was really the star of the show in that game as well. He had great Flores usage, great utility coming through, winning a lot of fights that he shouldn't be. So not surprising to see maybe Alems at the top of this game, but I think Jacob's right. Not the guy that you want to see top fragging for BDS.
Well, we've spoken about, BDS falling short in map number 1. What do they have to do internally in order to bring this round? I know we've already spoken that Skyscraper might be the map that swings in their favor, but what do they have to do, gameplay-wise, things like that, Jacob? What should they pull out of the bag for this next map?
Mostly a mentality thing. I think it's not even necessarily a gameplay thing. You're going to be able to lean into the strats that you already know and love on this map decently well. But I also think MNM at this point have shown that any time a team is really comfortable on a map, they will find some way to be disruptive. So even if you decide to lean on the things that you understand about Skyscraper, BDS need to be comfortable adapting. And I said this back in map 1, they don't seem like a team that's really capable of doing that. They seem stagnant in their play style, and they also don't move very quickly. So if they're attacking first on Sky, they need to pick up the pace. They need to make sure Shaiko's got a drone in front of him. They have the support around him to succeed, and he can't just be dying on his own without somebody right there to help back him up. So it's about the timing for BDS, and so long as they're able to shake off what it's like to lose a map 7-1, then I think they're going to be fine for map 2. But it really is dependent on how they shake off that mentality.
Okay, Jesse, what do you think? Do you think BDS have the capability to bring this back, or do you reckon this becomes a 2-0?
I do. I mean, I think that this is a very different map, right? Skyscraper is a lot slower. It's a lot more structured. And I really do think that's where BDS are going to thrive. There's been some conversation on Twitter, of course, recently about which maps should be in the pool, which maps shouldn't. A lot of the criticisms against Skyscraper is that it's very samey, right? It's always going to be the same kind of take that you go for. It's always going to be a lot of room for creativity. And I think BDS can kind of thrive in that environment because they're a team that are very good at the fundamentals. They're good when they know what's going on. In Border, nobody knows what's going on. It's always constant frags all over the map. You got to win that opening pick. It's chaos. It's hard to get trades in. But Skyscraper, I think it's a lot easier to pin down. It's a lot easier to be focused on what's actually happening. I'm going to be looking to see what happens to Saltov as well. He's very good on the defense on this map, but there have been games where you watch Saltov switch to attack and he tries these gimmicky Glaz strats. I want to see him playing more fundamental Siege because he can be good on the attack as well, but I think he has kind of fallen off on the attacking side on previous plays of this map. So if they can pin him down as well, that could be massive.
Well, things are about to slow down. Are BDS going to be able to claw things back, or is this going to be a 2-0? We've got Demo, and we've got X waiting in the wings. Let's bring us into map 2 of our EU semi-final.
Barney, Jacob, Jesse, thank you all very much indeed. We're ready to get stuck in now to map number 2 here. Skyscraper Demo, a map that plays out quite differently to Border. Some would say it is the sort of opposite end of things, where you look at Border that can be a very explosive map. Skyscraper still has that opportunity for explosivity, but you're more than likely dealing with those big old power positions and trying to brute force your way in.
Yeah, more about utility burn, I think, in Skyscraper than anything else. A lot more play around reinforced walls, which we've seen very little of course.
I really don't know which way this one is going to go. Part of me says that it should be the 2-0 that, based off the first map, it should be a 2-0, right? However, you kind of look at it and you go, on the flip side of things, it's BDS. surely they've got a bit of something, you know?
It's one of those maps where you look at it and you think, okay, Skyscraper, I suppose it's new, it's flashy, it'll take a while to figure things out. I think Skyscraper's been figured out pretty well so far. I think there's a lot more destructibility in terms of getting walls open than what there was in Border. Did we even see like a wall get opened on Border like once? Did we?
I don't think, not significantly.
You know what I mean? But it's like that kind of element where there's none of that on Border. That's going to dictate how this game plays. Geisha wall, VIP wall, office walls. Those are the three main ones that you need to Bandit trick, Kaid trick, wherever it is. As you can see, Bandit and Kaid is both open for this. Also, Mira is open, and so is Thermite. There's a few operators that have slipped through here which are really good. And you may be sitting there thinking, Thermite? Did he say Thermite? Like, why is that such a good ban on Skyscraper?
Well, I mean, everyone sat there thinking you didn't say it correctly. It's Thermite, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, please. I just had to.
Honestly, you're two-faced. You're two-faced. That's what you are.
I do agree, though, and the Thermite ban as well, coupling in, you know, we've spoken about Bandit bans coming back in fashion on this map.
Yeah, literally Thermite's good just to try and play around Kaid tricking. That's it. That's why he's really good in this map, because we know Kaid always makes an appearance. Sometimes fitting a factor in the lineup is difficult. So yeah, look at that straight away. Look at BDS. Only hard breacher. Thermite. Has to be. The fact that you said that, because Parker lived rent-free in my head because of that. You and Parker both do it to me. Honestly. So cruel to me. I do nothing but nice things.
Dokeby being allowed in as well.
Yeah, and the Lion.
I love the Iana ban because that just furthers the difficult day that Shaiko's going to have.
Yeah, I mean, he can go onto Ashe, which...
But he can go onto Ashe, but he exclusively plays Iana. Like, if you just look at Shaiko's operator pool of like who he plays, it's Iana.
Oh, this is dangerous from EFAC. Bathroom by himself. Oh dear. LMs. Should have got that.
Hey, he's back.
There we go.
Finally gets the entry kill. Shaiko on the board nice and early here on Skyscraper. Hitting that mental reset button from what has been going on previously. Solotov is able to take LMs down. Tyrant doubles down onto the Pain. Takes a good deal of damage in turn. Lion Scan comes out. Solotov is actually going to aggress up onto this. Finds himself one. Potentially picks a second. Can he grab it? No! Doesn't manage to. Brede hits him on the flip. Shaiko, he's outside. He might be full health, but look at the situation at hand here. Brede's one shot and he's almost in the Viper's nest. 3 versus 2 here. Quite a lot of time left to play with.
Oh, has he got that shotgun on? He has, hasn't he? He loves this shotgun form. He loves it. This is a staple he loves running all the time. Is this foreign shotgun plus a CZ. He loves it. Oh, Shaiko. He can see the guy above him, but with that goo mine, that's going to be a tricky one for him to deal with. It doesn't look as if BDS have any idea what they want to do.
They're a bit lost, aren't they?
Yeah.
There was a good sort of focus in the early part of the round to get into Geisha, gain a little bit of control there. But as soon as a couple of kills start to come in... It
was Solotov's moment there. That was huge. He shouldn't be allowed to get away with that.
Brede, one shot. He's going to crouch walk his way in immediately. Staring down the barrel of 2 MNM guns, and not something we get to see every day.
No, you do him. He loves that.
Big fan of the old pump action on...
He does. Loves the pump action. Has he still got his little CAG skin on? Oh no, he's changed it W7M. He always used to have the CAG background, now he's changed it up.
Mark of respect, maybe.
Maybe.
Not sure what the SSG background's doing on for...
They just did run all sorts, don't they? Also haven't...
They will be running MNM background.
Well, I mean, that does exist.
No, but the new ones.
The new ones, the tier 1 ones, is that what you're looking after? I don't know. I think they need to win a championship yet.
Ooh.
And they deserve it. Would you rather be gifted it, or would you rather just, you know, earn it? What would you rather? You know, let's put it forward to the Chungs. What would you prefer? Would you prefer to just get gifted it, or work for it, huh? Let's see what the mindset is with those two. Because they're businessmen at heart, aren't they?
I mean, knowing how good the pilot skin is for the org and the teams and the players, then get it gifted, mate.
Get it gifted.
Get it gifted.
Team Secret sitting there like, yeah, look at us. No championship in sight. We're happy. We'll take it.
So we see a switch up here onto a little bit of mirror action. Very popular choice when dealing with exhibition. Does give you a little bit of a headache and something to deal with, especially when you leave half of that wall soft. Kind of leaves a lot of options open for a little spray through the wall, maybe a little bit of a cheeky run out here or there, potentially a bit of an impact trick if you're in the right position. Lots of options here. And it does just add on to the danger levels of even approaching and starting to challenge onto any of those doorways. Lion scan to give a little bit of cover for this initial push from Renshiro.
MNM have chosen a great lineup. This is what I'm expecting whenever you look towards that office with Bandit up and Mira up. It's a deadly combination. Bandit is obviously going to be able to stop a lot of those walls being opened up, maybe from VIP side, which is, you wouldn't really see a Bandit go for the Bandit trick because the VIP wall, you can get naded from below very easily, where obviously you can as well for the office wall, but I don't know, I think it's a little bit more easier to almost dodge because it's like 2 walls rather than like 1, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but in my mind it does. And then Mira's just going to be great. So if you're BDS and you're looking to go for that sweep towards west, as soon as Shaiko takes a peek, he'll be looking at a mirror window. That's the issue now that BDS are going to suffer, is just these mirror windows. So like, look at this. What can they really do?
Well, you're going to have to deal with it in some way. Leakyfac is choosing the more direct route right now as he takes Tyrant down, but immediately traded on back.
Okay, they're going to have
Shaiko.
Okay.
Taken out there by Solotov.
I think Brida needs help.
Oh, what a shot from Nath as well. Renshiro getting caught out. MNM are happy to challenge onto this. You can see that they've got that confidence, Demo. They know that BDS is still pretty cold in this series.
They are.
Struggling to win out on gunfights and just taking advantage of it. Bride's going to get the wall open, but that looks like it's going to be tricked, and we can hear that it is.
Look at that.
It's going from bad to worse.
It's the power of Bandit. That's why you ban it. I'm surprised they didn't push for the ban. I really, really am, especially whenever you know you're starting on attack first. And you've already had a bit of a bad time on border. You need to give yourself whatever advantage you can, Ollie. But a great point you made. The gunfights. MNM know they can just swing because BDS are not here today. They're not on the mark.
Certainly looking a little bit flat. Leakyfac and Bride trying to pick up some pieces here. Leakyfac finds a fantastic shot there, but Bride will be cut down. No Capcan on board this time, my friend, and you got to shoot the C4 before it detonates and shoots you. Usus, another cracking round. Main character moment from Usus, honestly, today. He's on the Bandit tricking. He's smashing it in the KD department on border. He's alive at the end to pick up that final kill. 3-0 so far out of the 2 rounds we've seen.
Incredible. I mean, BDS, just, it feels very flat. It doesn't look as if they want to try and stretch MNM. Anything they're doing, MNM know what to do against that.
There's a lack of direction again. We commented on it in the first round and said, you know, after the bit of a gunfight inside of Geisha and you'd lost a few bodies, you'd lost a Lems out there on that East Rappel, and on that West Rappel, and all of a sudden it was, you know, it is what it is. We're just going to push in and see what we can find. I felt that same lack of direction in round number 2.
Yeah, and it's strange.
Where were the players below?
So strange, because a team
where were the nades below? Nade out the mirror window, stop someone from playing on it, get it opened, you know, start working on the breaches, get someone in position to remove the Bandit, have someone pressure below, have someone on the stairs, do whatever you need to do.
We praised BDS earlier today, saying they're a team that is really good, that can play from behind. Oh
dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh. I'm telling you, there's something fishy going on with him today. He's a blatant troller today, I'm telling you. Something going on.
Watch.
Yeah, honestly.
Shocking.
Oh dear. But like I said, BDS, we highlighted them. They're a team that can recover from insane situations, just the team play, the ideas that they have. They're so good in those positions. If it's 2v4, you'd still fancy them to win it. Especially against a team like MNM, who you, no matter what team they're against, you always fancy MNM to lose a round just off of them throwing it away.
Oh, absolutely.
But BDS today, their entire, I would say, you know, genetic code is not, it's gone. The genetic code's not here.
They're off the boil.
Yeah.
They have picked up the first kill, though. Nath just gave himself away. I don't think he was expecting there to be that many options when he opened the door. Solotov
This guy's
to try and drag this one back, and we're looking into a much more explosive round number 3. Leaky Fact, he's going to be below. There's still a couple of players above, and they are going to start taking damage.
Down.
Third kill on the round for Leaky Fact. Users.
Do you fancy?
A cracking time on border.
You think?
I just think this is going to be a stretch. 1v4. Picks up the first, can't find the second. You can see the hail of bullets coming in on the crossfire. BDS woke up, Demo. They decided to win a round.
Finally, they get some gunfights. But Nathan, honestly, just a blatant troll, isn't he?
If he was on it, I mean, he's on the mute, right? So if he's placed all his jammers, he's got a C4, maybe shouldn't be doing it. It is what it is. But it was just the desperate SMG-11 spray that you see. Oh, we're just going to go for a throwback on round 2.
rolling back
in case we wanted to see Leaky Fact lose that.
That's a best
one again.
That's a best of the decade highlight right there. Part 1. Part 1, best of the decades. Oh, dear. It's a good game.
Downstairs we go to Kitchen. BDS on the board a lot quicker here than they were on border.
At least EFAC's here today.
Well, they looked better as well in that round, didn't they? Leaky Fact had just decided he'd gone, you know what, I'm sick of this. Get me on the book.
But how often can he do that?
Well, he's going to have to do it a few more times, especially if Shaiko keeps getting first blooded.
I mean, I just think Shaiko's just dead in the water right now. Just like every gunfight he's going into, Ollie, he's cooked every time. Maverick appearance. Wowzer, what do you think of that one?
I mean, that's not something we see every day, is it?
It's I mean, the thing about Maverick is there a need for him? Because it just feels like it makes the whole process of opening up this wall just such a mess, and we know how wrong Mavericks can go.
You're just begging to get run out on or C4'd or something, you know?
Like, the thing is as well, if you're going for, like, you know, the way you'd prone and, you know, do the feet holes, like, what's to stop somebody just swinging you while you're doing that? Because you can't really get a good, like, someone can't cover you too well whenever you're doing this from the upside down rappel. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not sold on it.
Half his HP gone. They've got the wall open, but it's a very small hole, isn't it?
You could even bring an ace, and at least you get the AK-12 then.
Just nade below. If you're issues with a bandit, nade below. It's as easy as that. Oh, but then again, suppose the kitchen, so you can't really do that, yeah.
Leaky Fact finds himself one. Can he find the second here? He's drawn for the pistol. Can't quite get the angle. Solotov picks up 2 in the meantime. The king of Geisha locking it down. Tyrant finishes things off with the shotty.
What a mess.
We might have thought that the Maverick was a bad choice, but every choice has been pretty bad here for BDS. Shaiko, he didn't know which way to turn. Tyrant, he's going to oblige and finish things off nice and quickly. We got nowhere near the site at all.
What happened?
BDS are absolutely headlocked into that Geisha take, and they just can't pull it off.
I mean, Solotov got 2 kills. I don't know where, because we missed it. Solotov just run it. Solotov, did he run out? Did he run out of Geisha and kill 2 of them? Surely not. I see it said enemy detected outside, so he must have.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
He's a joke this game, isn't he? He's just running around. That's all Solotov is doing. And he's in, like, see whenever someone's on that form, how do you play against that? Like, realistically, how do you play against that?
It's very difficult. He's like he's donned the Teflon suit and everything's just slipping off him.
Every gunfight that guy goes into, he wins it. What do you do? And then the thing is, for BDS, they have someone who can't even buy a kill.
I mean, he's bought 1. Or are we talking about Renchi?
Both. You know, but it's Shaiko is just... What can he do?
Attackers are moving to
I'm not sure why we're going back onto the Maverick again.
I mean, they're having issues with the bandit trick. That's a dead-on experience for them.
Bring the Thatcher. You know, bring something else. Bring the ability to deal with that from below.
I mean, just nade below. But anywhere the bandit goes for the trick, you can nade below. Facts. Yeah. So I don't know why they're not doing that. Even Sophia.
I was going to say, I'd sooner bring a Sophia and just destroy the floor.
If you're worried about messing up your nade, Sophia. It's as simple as that. Easy, low risk. You're going to get something out of it.
I love how we all like hold our breath when we see the Maverick with these days. It's like, what's going to happen?
Yeah. And the thing is, they're only bringing a Maverick. There's nothing else. They're not going to open up the main wall. What I assume they're going to rotate into is by having the VIP wall open. That will then alleviate pressure for them to go for a sweep and they can take Dragon easier. Do you not remember whenever Nathan was just walked up and swung them with no repercussion? It's because that wall wasn't opened. If you open up that wall, it will restrict the players from doing those plays. So I suppose if they're going for that, it's a better play. However, you're still going up against these mirror windows. How do you get rid of them? You don't. You can't. Unless they get a Twitch to run, and even that, you're really going to bank on a Twitch to run. Like, look at that. What's he doing over there?
It's looking a little bit messy at the moment.
It's all over the place. Maverick and that wall is dangerous. Dangerous to all Kingdom Come because it's easy for a C4 because there's nowhere to go. You're on a balcony, Ollie. There's nowhere to hide from a C4.
Shaiko knows that there's a player hanging out as well. He's got a ping and he's heard the Dokkaebi call. The pre-fire shots are going through. Puts a couple of chip damage shots in through to Soltov. But the C4 from below.
Brilliant.
Tyron, that was beautiful. Nath finishes things off with a kill onto Renshiro.
That's what I'm saying. Both of them can't buy a kill.
Still, Dragon Control has not been established. Maverick or not, it is not going to matter. Alems is going to start to try and make his way through, but where can he go? He's just got to dip himself out of there back into drum. This is a nightmare. You're still looking at an intact mirror window with 45 seconds left to go, and the player on the other side cannot be hurt. Solotov, he's going to take one onto Alems. As Leaky Fight does try and swing through, but Nello pops up from behind the case. Brede. It's a long old journey from here, I'm afraid. You might have the kit, but you ain't got a chance. Flawless for MNM.
I have never seen BDS get beat this bad. Never. Never. They lost 7-1. This is looking like potentially another 7-1. When have you ever seen BDS get dismantled?
It's not looked this convincing for a long time.
I can't believe it. It's men versus boys. And I would say a year ago, you'd be saying the opposite, wouldn't you? You'd say BDS were the men.
Oh, I'd locked in for this series. I saw the fixture. I saw the start time.
You were buzzing.
And I was like, you know what?
It's going to be a great day.
I'm doing nothing for the rest of the night. And now it's, I mean, it could be over in 3 rounds.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm happy we're seeing it. Still, I'm happy because...
It's a great performance from MNM.
It's a piece of history. It's a piece of history for this.
It's a wonderful showing from MNM, and I think that's the big takeaway here is that, yes, BDS are a team that, they've fallen off. You know, they were at the top. They have won a major, but realistically, you look at them now and you go...
They're so far behind it.
They're really near the pace. They miss out on Copenhagen. We don't get to see them for a few weeks.
Invite wasn't even good. Their invite, remember we said that at invite, that CAG loss. Ever since Youngcoming, the team's been on downward trajectory, and it's fact. It is. It's factual. It's we're witnessing almost a new age. That's what it feels like. We've got the likes of MNM running around. Wild are now in the mix. I even think Secret are rising up. You're starting to see these big teams that have been dominating starting to fall by the wayside. Look what's happened to Koi. Look what's happened to the BDS right now. What a region.
Maybe you can take them back with your demo to NA.
10 seconds remaining.
Hey, I've got 2 of them over there, and that's enough for me.
We'll probably top the league in NA.
You say that.
Attackers are moving out to
you say that, and then you're playing against Sizz, and you're moving in against Sploit, for goodness sake.
Yeah, that's very true.
There's differences, there's levels to it. Even moving in, and you're getting, Shaiko's moved to NA, and he's getting gunned by some guy called Hat. You can't make it up. Mr. B screaming at you in a Hawaiian shirt. Telling you, there's levels to that league.
Let's see if the tactical timeout was good for anything. Typically, teams are good for a round after a tactical timeout. In this instance, though, that isn't going to be enough. BDS need to turn that one potential round into more.
They've got a Ying.
A 2-4 split wouldn't look horrendous. It wouldn't look great. But it'd look better than a 5-1 at this point. We're seeing the Ying Candelas go through. Renshiro not going to follow up on that immediately.
Does it not feel as though that MNM are setting up pretty basic? There's nothing that MNM are doing that's making us think, oh, look at this. It is the way you should play Skyscraper. MNM are doing that. So I'm confused why BDS don't know how to play against that. It's really strange.
Ooh, well, Ems gets a chance there. Tyrant, he has been known to hang around that main area there. He can't re-peek onto that challenge, though. Good nade in onto Solotov. Things already looking a little bit better here for BDS. They're taking the time and they're commanding the space a bit more. We've got Shaiko downstairs, just looking for a rotating player up through into sight. Alems trying to make good on some of this vertical that's available as well. Pieces feel like they're slowly falling into place here. They've not just been banging their head against the wall, but Nello picks up a great kill onto BDS. That's Diffuser cold on the ground as well.
It's all the way out in spawn as well, because that drops all the way down the side of the building. So Alems has to go get it now. He has to. And he is, it looks as if. Look, that's just the pain for him. He has to rappel all the way down, then all the way back up. The biggest thing going, though, for BDS is that they still have the Ying. That's going to be the difference.
They do still have one Candela in Renshiro's hand. And they're not looking to try and take any challenges while they're at this equal man count. They're going to wait for Alems to get back into the picture here. He has recovered that diffuser. Shaiko potentially going to crouch walk his way up these main stairs. Tyrant is going to be playing there, but turns his attention elsewhere. Smokes come in. Renshiro
waiting for Shaiko.
Time for a Candela potentially. Shaiko is going to take a little bit of damage as well. Just waiting for Leaky Fact to get into position, but the diffuser surrendered yet again. Tyrant, that's the second time.
Oh, and Users kills Shaiko.
Users, great frag there over onto Shaiko. Leaky Fact, he has to push through. He has to find this kill. That's his third. Renshiro still out there on the rappel.
No diffuser.
Cold inside of Geisha. He's going to find himself the quad. Leaky Fact, you've got to push for all the kills now. User shuts him down in process, but Renshiro comes in. He was hanging on the rappel, throwing utility in for the entirety of the round and just swoops on through. Picks himself up one, but it was the most important one.
Renshi, are you trying to give your team a heart attack? He just sat in the window for the entire round, pretty much.
First kill, by the way.
15 seconds remaining.
Why did he not go whenever Shaiko was pushing up?
Leaky Facts won that round, hands.
What did we say? If they're going to win, it's going to be because of him. Both rounds they've won, it's because of him. Like, Shaiko's 1-6. Again, we say this is a day for first. We've never seen BDS play this bad. When have you seen Shaiko play this bad?
It doesn't happen all the time.
Wait, how many kills did he get on border?
3 or something, was it?
Was he 3 and 8? 3 and 7?
Something like that. We got the stats.
Now he's 1-6.
Find out. It wasn't a lot.
10 seconds to insertion.
I mean, at the end of the day, he has. I don't think he's passed 5 kills in this series. And we've played, what, 8, 6? We played 14 rounds and Shaiko's got 5 kills, potentially. 4 kills. 4 kills. That's... what a day.
The previous round will have done too much to knock MNM's confidence.
Is this the downfall? Is this it?
Could be doing a Nesk.
Oh dear, you're a...
Over the hill.
Oh dear, you're a... I mean, we also get the... do we cast...
I think we've got that game, haven't we?
Do we cast them?
I think we cast one of them, yeah. I don't think that previous round will have done too much to knock MNM's confidence here. 4-2.
My little analyst buddy, who obviously I've been forced into working with Ollie, called Jesse J. Chick, of course.
You love Jesse.
I do. I'll both of you. So I'm in a very privileged position. He is confirmed with me. He was 3 and 8 last map.
I love how you had to go to Jesse to confirm it when I told you it was 3.
Yeah, but Jesse...
Now I just feel like the trust isn't there.
No, it isn't. No, I mean, no, come on. If we're giving fresh credit, we know that Jesse also doesn't leave the house, so... But that's just because he lives in Canada, so there's not much he can really get up to over there.
It's pretty cold.
Of course.
Understandable. Nath? Hello? Frostmat? Please tell me no. Say it ain't so. It's so! Nath got caught inside.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you about this guy today. Honestly. Just love that. I'd love to pick up Julio and say, why are you playing Nathan today? Get you in there, Julio. Honestly.
Solotov's not having the pop-off that he has in the past either.
No, he's slowed down a bit, hasn't he? Yeah.
The thing is, I'm not bothered about the KD. I'm more thinking about being caught out and then not traded. That's the bigger problem here, and it's the second time that I've noticed it happen. I'm sure there's been a couple more where he's just gone out there. MNM have had the opener, and Solotov's just got himself caught out because he's doing solo Solotov things. Tyrant now on a little bit of a solo hero play as well.
He's a rat. Look at him. I mean,
I've always said that the space that Tyrant can find in a map is very impressive.
Like, this is a massive round for BDS because they've lost EFAC, who's literally single-handedly won both of their rounds. Now it's the players which really haven't done anything have to win this round. That's where we're at right now. This is a make or break for BDS.
The thing they've got going for them is that MNM are moving incredibly slowly here, and they haven't really done too much in this map. Shaiko could be gifted a second here, but takes a ton of damage. Nath is going to have to try and move his way in. Tyrant going to be the next player to fall, as it is only Nello and Nath remaining. And BDS have awoken Shaiko. He picks himself up a couple of kills from the walk-in. Conchu was getting peeked from both sides there. Much better stuff from BDS. The timeout clearly working here. They've managed to chain two together, and now they only trail by one, and all of a sudden, it looks like we've got a ball game.
Indeed. Finally, BDS. They've done something. 2 rounds in a row. MNM.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Just, again, I feel as though they kind of went back into their old form, which, to be fair, I don't think we've seen at the Major, Ollie, was if you think about the way MNM play, well, you know, a few months ago, they kind of relied on waiting for Tyrant to make something happen, and then they go. We didn't see that at the Major. I think it was a much more complete unit. They kind of get away from, hey, we kind of rely on, like, one guy. Which it's a good play style because if the guy can do it, you'll have a great time winning games. But if that guy's having an off day, and if that guy's being like man-marked, being doubled up on by their opponents, and you know that's how you play, you're gonna have a tragic time. I think Tyrant fit into both those strategies where I think teams were ganging up on him, and also he had the tendencies to have a bad game in him. So the fact that they changed that play style again, you would assume Julio has to play a big part in that. You have to, because the difference in the team, like just that one little change from relying on one guy making a play to a complete team is a big difference, massive difference. And I kind of seen essence of it there. I think losing Solotov maybe forces them into that playstyle. Are we in a position then where we're saying that, hey, they've moved away from the Tyrant to now Solotov? Is that where they're at?
I mean, Solotov did get taken out quite early in that last round, and the direction it was left to Tyrant to try and make something happen. So there is potential for that. I do think MNM need to be careful here because for all that BDS have had a slow start, we know what this team's capable of. And as I can't remember the last time that we've seen him get beat that badly on border, equally I wouldn't be surprised to see him come out of it absolutely swinging and take this 7-4 now and take us all the way to map 3. We know what the team is capable of. If Shaiko's going to start getting a couple of kills, EFAC's already shown that he's not willing to just roll over today. All it needs is a couple of more, couple of bits more performance from a few other players, and they've really got a good chance here. And I think this round, again, very crucial in all of that.
Mirror windows up. No bandit, though, which is probably the only thing that BDS have misplayed on, Ollie, has to be said. With having that bandit, it just means that MNM can't really get anything rolling without then having to go through the process of, okay, if they're bandit tricking, now we have to go blow, now we have to use the nades. Without that being up, it's pretty free range, I think, for MNM just to move in and open up these walls with ease. And that mirror window that you'll see being faced towards the main breach, that can be Thermite off. If you go to the very left-hand side of that office wall, it will also catch that mirror window. So that's why Thermite's really strong on this, particularly on this bomb site.
Kill's going to start flooding here. Solotov was the first to fall, and BDS have not slowed down since. They've picked another 2, and they've only lost Renshiro in the process. A round again that despite all of the advantages on paper, isn't really looking that great for MNM. Nate's just going to push through the barbed wire and be the sole survivor. Efak there with the swing. MNM, what's going on?
That's a head loss round if I've ever seen one, because that was just bad.
There's got to be time for a timeout soon.
I'd be thinking timeout if you're coaching staff.
Absolutely. Leveled up at 4-4 now after BDS weren't even in the server in the first couple of rounds. And now things have slowly started to come through. Again, Solotov picked off as the entry, not traded, not in a position to be traded, not really providing much value. I think Tyrant and Users had the right idea with trying to do a bit of a pinch, but it's so difficult to pinch when you're dealing with that top stairs area because there's just so much visibility for the defenders.
Oh, here we go. Oh, welcome to the funhouse, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the circus.
See, why are you getting excited now and I'm not? Like, I'm nervous.
Listen, I love Blitz. Blitz is the most underrated operator in the game. Series beast operator.
I do remember seeing Nello in Copenhagen trying to blitz flash someone from across the room.
5 seconds to insertion.
And I was sat with Pengu at the time, and Pengu was...
Oh, you know Pengu, do you? I didn't know you knew him.
I was going to call him Nick, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew what I was talking about.
I'm only allowed to call him Mr. Mortson, sadly.
It's a shame.
Yep. Yeah, Blitz is going to be really good. If you're looking for like a black stairs take, great. Push up staircase, can push in for the door. You're generally fighting one-way angles, which is where Blitz want to be. You just want to run one way and you know you won't get shot from behind, get shot from the side. That's where Blitz is in his element, if you can use them in certain positions, which are extremely strong. I don't really know what MNM want to go for, because I think this might be the first time I've seen, you know, Tyrant on the Blitz going for this on Skyscraper. So this is going to be interesting.
How's Nello managed this one? Nello's got himself on the Dokkaebi.
And Nello plays all sorts these days. I mean,
Nello does.
MNM just toss operators around each other. They do. They'll play all sorts. It's really only Nate who gets stuck with the tricky ones, but...
Back in the day, they were one of the teams that was the most flexible. It wasn't the same roster. It was just the same organization, but we would always credit them as being a very flexible bunch. And there is that same level of flexibility here and now. Nath needs to deal with that mute jammer.
Lambs took a nade.
I think that was a vert nade.
Yeah, no, because he's in kitchen, so it can't be.
Or just a regular nade, maybe?
Yeah. Oh, and he's getting...
Isn't going to deter him, though. How's managed to take Blitz?
What's Tyrant done? I wish we'd seen Tyrant's POV, because I would have been all over that.
I mean, it must have been an error, surely.
Oh, well, I don't know. He's lucky. Get me the match replay file immediately.
Things just going to slow to a little bit of a halt here. You do worry that when MNM bring that sort of an operator and obviously have a very clear idea of how they want to play the round, and then the Blitz is lost, or, you know, Solotov again has been, he's exited out of this round, third time in a row without getting a kill.
Do you know the one where it's like, oh, I'm somewhat of a Blitzman myself? You know, with Green Goblin.
Blitzman yourself?
Yeah, that's what I feel right now.
Well, we've seen how good it did in this round.
This is going to be a painful round here.
At all. This is looking like a single doorway push demo. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
There was moonwalking.
Yeah.
This looks like more of an observer crash.
Is Annie okay?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that's more of an observer crash than an actual game crash.
Well,
get that one sorted out nice and quickly, and get
I assume BDS win. I
would assume BDS win. I think that's a safe assumption to make, given the state of play.
Yep.
We will await some confirmation, figure out just exactly what is going on. The game will likely be continuing, and we will either try and rejoin with the observer, or after the round is finished, the lobby will be remade, and we will rejoin the action that way. For the time being, all we can do is sit and wait. But thank you for bearing with us. Demo, what a game we have seen so far. BDS nowhere to be seen, and it looks as though they just woke up a little bit late. They just got the second train.
Yeah. They're getting into it now. I think their rhythm is certainly showing. Again, I need to see what that blitz did. I need to see what that blitz did, because that's really the worry for me, is what's going on if something...
Is that going to keep you up tonight?
It will. Until I see what he's done, it will, because he's up against a Legion who's 1 HP. And I heard a single shot from the blitz. I heard a single shot from the pistol, and then I seen him appear on the kill feed. Yeah, I heard the pistol, and that was it.
So in terms of probability, Tyrant's dropped the shield, gone for a shot and missed. If the call especially is that Legion's one shot, because we know that the nade and Tyrant's missed the shot potentially.
I need to see it.
Tyrant's missed.
Yeah, I heard a single shot. Renshi should be dead.
Instead, Tyrant is. It'd be nice to know what happened in that round.
We'll get it back. I think we're going to throw to a quick break, Ollie. I think so. While we get things sorted. So yeah, we're going to go to a quick break, and hopefully we'll be back.
For the second year, we are thrilled to once again host Rainbow Six at Gamers 8 in Saudi Arabia. In 2022, the event was filled with some exhilarating moments. Let's turn back the clock and showcase some of those incredible highlights.
Then tends the lead attacker favorite so far today. Oh, Shaiko!
Pojo Man secures it. Most player positions will have been well established. Okay, never mind.
Katsang needs to stick this Dexter now. He's already clutched a couple of big rounds. Headshot onto Katsang plant. So he has to be absolutely perfect. One Rotero, but it is a Rioed wall. I like this. Gets the intel. There's a player already in there. They've got to be careful. He had no clue. Dexter holds as they stick the kit.
Mad skills, and he knows about them. The yellow ping is there, and that C4 could be huge, and it gets two. Wild.
The qualifiers saw teams from Europe, North America, South America, and Saudi Arabia battle it out for a chance to compete at Gamers 8. In the end, it was Wild, Space Station Gaming, MIBR, and Team Falcons that secured their spots, joining the other 4 invited teams for an epic showdown. In Group B, BDS showcased an incredible performance with a flawless run through their entire bracket. In their second match, they even beat the then current world champions TSM in a highly convincing 2-0 victory.
Pojo will get aggressive and find one. Shaiko gets another one, but oh, here comes TSM! Here comes Pojo! Finding 3, leaving it all down to LMs to close this map out right here, right now. SMG11 primed and ready, decides it's time for the shotgun. He's going brawling. LMs! Are you kidding me?
Meanwhile, in Group A, Wild faced off against Team Liquid, beating them 2-0, sending them to the lower bracket.
Left to go, and everybody knows he's pushing these main stairs from blue. Corey shuts him down.
But Team Liquid fought their way back, making it all the way to the playoffs. With the stage set for the playoffs, BDS continued their win streak against Team Liquid, bringing them a 2-0 victory and securing their spot in the finals.
The timing isn't quite right. BDS, they're going to start to find a couple of kills before we see Liquid fight back. It's all down to PSK. Isn't a lot, especially when you're going to be going up against the might of BDS. Lems hits him with the swing. Who better to finish off the job here?
In the meantime, Team Falcons had an incredibly close matchup against Wild, clinching map 3 in overtime to win the series 2-1 and to secure their own spot in the finals.
But he'll get close to Joker. He knows a threat is there. So players are so close, and oh, he finds it. Corey falls. No response from Wild at all. And here come the Falcons. It's all down to Aces to keep his team alive, and he can't do it. Falcons book themselves a ticket to face BDS tomorrow.
In the grand finals, 2 Titans, BDS and Team Falcons, clashed head-to-head, with both teams desperate for the win. Despite the fierce competition, BDS's unstoppable win streak gifted them a 3-0 victory against Team Falcons. Once again, showcasing their dominance in Rainbow Six.
Clear they cannot have the confidence to move themselves into the site while the threat sits alive up above, but it won't work out for J-Lad. He'll be lost to Shaiko, and oh no, J-Lad, he took the case with him up there. Rafal closes it down with Shaiko, and that's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. BDS shut it down, and they will claim the championship here at Gamers 8.
Fantastic run for BDS, not dropping a single map in their entire group and going flawless in the final.
With their victory, BDS became the first ever Gamers 8 champions of Rainbow Six.
Hello everybody, thank you for bearing with us during that short break. We have got the lobby back set up now. It was nice there to relive last year's Gamers 8. Heard a few familiar voices there on the voiceover.
A voice I've heard too much, I'll be honest, sometimes, but...
I mean, Whippet doesn't live too far away from you, so I'm not surprised there that you've heard his voice quite a bit.
Speaking about John, I spent a great time with John over in Denmark, didn't I? Love John.
Jokes aside, I think we're ready to get back into Skyscraper. We are going to join midway, exactly where we left off, and just see exactly how that previous round went, and then, of course, move on through. Score as it currently sits, BDS in the ascendancy. They've picked up a couple of rounds in a row here, Demo, after that tactical timeout. That can only be a good thing for them.
Yeah, it needed to be. They were looking on dire straits. You know, I think BDS, a team which you would never associate this kind of performance with. And I think everyone was just stunned that BDS would be this poor today. So yeah, they need to wake up again. I thought it was going to just be a quick one. I thought again on their 7-1, but MNM almost took their foot off the gas. And BDS, all of a sudden, have got a bit of a slipstream. And now they're in a great position.
They really are. I mean, there was a point in the game where I said, you know, after BDS took the timeout and picked up a round, I said, you know what? This BDS side, I wouldn't be surprised if they just come out here and they all of a sudden win this thing 7-3. And there is that potential. It's not going to be 7-3, granted, but there is that potential for BDS to come out and to very convincingly finish off this Skyscraper and take us into a third map, which at this point, if you're MNM, it really is going to knock the wind out of your sails because you've had such a dominant performance on Border, but that's ages ago. It doesn't matter anymore because then you're just in a straight shootout, you're in a straight best of one. MNM need to come back here with a little bit more conviction. An area that I certainly think they've been struggling, Demo, is going to be that entry kill. We've seen Solotov past couple of rounds. We've not really had much out of him. I'm looking for a little bit more in that direction, and I'm hoping that they are as well, and they've sort of clocked that, because if that continues to be a trend, it only spells disaster from here on out.
Yeah, I hope that MNM change something up. I would like to see them change something up.
What would you have them do?
What would I have them do? That's a great question.
One in the chamber?
I would like to see them experiment more with, you know, the Yings, the Glazes. Maybe not the Blitz, or maybe not just Tyrant on the Blitz, because that's still going to bug me. Still going to bug me.
I'd like to see Solotov on the Glaz, now that you mention it, because we've seen him on the Sledge and he's not really had that same impact, but we know him to be a very good and competent Glaz player.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of players in that team who can do different roles in terms of they can play these different operators, these different styles, because obviously we know Solotov for playing like a Nuke. Glaz plays very differently than a Nuke, but the thing is about this team is that they can do that. You know, they're all very flexible players. They play everything. They can do everything. I don't think we get the same with BDS. I think BDS are very... I mean, I feel for BDS is that they don't really change a whole too lot either. At least this doesn't feel like that for the most part.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of they got comfort at the top? Which we see, how many times we see that now, where a team gets comfortable at the top and then they fall away. Again, I think the major is cemented that we'll never see a team stay on the top for more than a 3-month period. I think that's facts.
Yeah, the dynasty's over, and you can see teams that maintain a reasonable level of performance. You're never going to see back-to-backs.
No one will do back-to-back ever again. No way.
I think one of the things that BDS struggle with, and you know, we've commented quite a lot really on Shaiko, and it's been a good talking point, because a player that has those high highs when he's having a low low, you've got to highlight it and you've got to bring it up. I love the Iana ban that MNM brought out. We touched on it at the start in the ban phase. It forces him onto the Ashe. Now, the Ashe is an unfamiliar territory. Do you know what I mean? We're not forcing him. He's probably got more hours on Ashe than he has Iana, given how long Ashe has been out versus how long Iana's been out. But realistically, you look at it and you go, you remove that crucial two nades. that does a lot to the overall team composition, because if you're just going to switch on to Ash, you're not then going to bring the nade. Sure, you have the breaching round, but it's not exactly going to do the same thing. I think that MNM did a cracking job there to really target him whilst he was already down. But that being said, he'd picked it up in the last couple of rounds that we saw, Demo.
Yeah, they're starting to get into the groove. They're starting to get into where they need to be. I think you have to highlight this man here, EFAC. You have to, Ollie. He's been the reason that's kept them in the game, and he's really been the one who's led the charge and gave them a bit of hope.
Oh, EFAC has been a fantastic player at Tour de Force, and you look at the way that he plays, and you can almost imagine, you know, we've seen these players on player cams enough times, we've seen him in interviews, you can almost imagine his sort of face and facial expression that, you know, I'm just not letting this one go.
Yeah.
EFAC is a very vocal player, and he brings
like
quite a lot.
Faden, just at the front. That's him.
What's the charge like? What's the shout?
I mean, I don't speak French.
No, but like the English translation, is it like for BDS, for Shaiko?
I thought it was La Resistance, but maybe I'm getting my resistances mixed up. I don't know.
This was where Shaiko looked a little bit more like himself. That round there was a good example of what he's very capable of. But MNM struggling on the attacks, and that's, you know, the big takeaway here is a game of Siege. It is always a game of two halves, and there's the attacking half and the defending half. And if you are going to struggle on one of those sides, you better believe that you're almost flawless on the opposite, so that you can afford those mistakes. And MNM were far from flawless. It's 5-4 currently to BDS, so they did win the round that we unfortunately disconnected from. We kind of figured, we saw that one coming, but just for official confirmation. So BDS only a couple of rounds away here, Demo. It is very much within sight that we end up on Clubhouse.
It is, and Club it's a tricky one, because that's BDS's map. You know, historically, that's their fortress. And then we look at a team like MNM, where I think they were always a good Club side. And then now you've taken Club and you've sprinkled in Giulio's W7M Clubhouse, and you've got something really special. And that, for me, like, if we go to the third map, if MNM win that will just cement how times have changed. It will.
And I think that it will be a good... It would be a good nail in the coffin for MNM to hammer home that, you know, they are a team that have got that win in them, got that big best-of-3 win in them. They've shown it us at the major, but it almost feels like when you're going into, you know, within the same region like this, and you're going up against a team like BDS, that you're almost fighting your big brother in that sense, because they're a team, BDS, that have paved the way for Europe as we see it today. And MNM are, you know, in context, that newer kid on the block that's looking to, you know, prove that they can do it as well. You know, it's almost a sort of move out of the way situation. The future is here, and the future is MNM, but they've got to do it to for us to believe it. And still, that small matter of Skyscraper to get through for BDS. We sit here and say they only need 2 rounds, but that could still be quite difficult. They've shown us a bit of success so far on the defense. They've shown us a good couple of rounds. This break, though, Demo, I mean, this could really work both ways for both sides at this moment in time. MNM, they need to come up with some new ideas. I do think we are going to hit a very short break before we get back into the game. We do apologise for that. So stick with us, and we'll be back in just a few.
Gotta keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Gotta keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Gotta keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left.
Team BDS.
BDS.
I would say the Shaco.
Citizen.
It's a knock.
Evan. No.
I would say mute.
Mute.
Let's go. I would say the shield.
It was the ballistic shield.
I sit with Pengu and Bride, but I will go to Bride because he's the GOAT.
Shepherd. It was Team Empire.
It's Team Empire, no?
Hello everybody and welcome back once again. Just had a little bit of a problem getting the lobby set up there, but I believe that the players are in and ready to go. So we're just going to perform some final checks before sending us back into the game. Demo, once again, joining me here. We are about to see the conclusion, I hope, of Skyscraper between BDS and MNM. It hasn't been the most straightforward game so far, has it?
No, it's been a game with two halves. I think that's probably the best way to look at it so far, which it's not over. It's not over yet. It's still, you know, still time for both teams to really, you know, I think ramp up, and I think for MNM they have potential to maybe pull this back and finish out 2-0, or for BDS it just gives them more time to just keep on warming up and keep on moving into Clubhouse potentially. So I think for both teams, again, a very important map.
I don't think that either team is going to be looking at this and sort of being scared or worried at the prospect of going to Clubhouse. Obviously, if you're MNM, it's not ideal given that you won map 1. You want to win map 2 as well, and you want to get it done in a 2-0 fashion. For BDS, they're going to be relishing the fact that Clubhouse is available, and they are going to be doing their utmost to get themselves there. They need 2 rounds here on Skyscraper to do just exactly that. MNM on the flip side, they are trailing a little bit further. They would need 3. Still a very close game, very tight, not too much in it at all. If we do look more toward that Clubhouse, because I've got a feeling that that's where this is going to end up, Demo. You've sort of already touted MNM as that up-and-coming team, and BDS that sort of more experienced team on Clubhouse. Now, which way do you see it going if we do end up going to a club? Because that's the sort of map where all of a sudden Chyko just turns up and has a life game, which wouldn't be unusual for him. You're gonna start feeling quite hard done to, and that there's been some missed opportunities elsewhere from MNM.
Yeah, it could be. You know, it could be BDS back in their home turf, feeling comfortable. Like you mentioned, Chyko could turn up, or BDS could go into that game and all of a sudden they're not playing against MNM anymore. They're playing against W7M. Am I wrong? You know,
regions.
That's why I look at it, because look at the coach. Look at the coach for MNM.
We're back in the game. Again, thank you so much for bearing with us during that small hiccup, but we are back, ready and waiting to get stuck in here. MNM on the attack, BDS on the defense. 5-4 as the score currently sits in favor of BDS. Let's see how the break has been for both of these two sides. It's been around 15 minutes, so there's a good deal of time there to have a think, reset your own mental, maybe get prepared for what you know is coming. On the flip side, it's 15 minutes where you could just entirely forget how to hold your mouse and which button does what on your keyboard. Who knows?
There's a Ying. I mentioned these are the kind of operators that I would like to see from MNM. Is a little bit more chaos into the mix. And they certainly can do that. I mean, whenever you use this on the Thermite, what does that say about this team?
Says that they're flexible and that they can do anything.
Issue is, it's all good putting them on the Thermite, but how are they going to get rid of the mute jammer?
Isn't going to be the easiest task for Solotov. We've not seen him have the best couple of rounds previously leading up to this one. In the last 3 rounds, he's died. Not always necessarily as the entry. Sometimes he's been second, but he hasn't really been actively trading. I think he gets caught out on his own a little bit. So when he holds the key to the puzzle, those nades, you're going to hope that he's able to deliver on it.
Mute jammers are getting great value. Great value.
Yeah, just stop the Rotero drone from opening up that castle.
I'm a little bit surprised they didn't stack up any Wamai disc for Geisha. Salto free 1 nade, it didn't get caught, then nothing was burned. And he gets the mute jammer because of it. BDS a little bit surprised by that.
Certainly a slower round here.
Oh, I like
the
this
halfway point now.
Oh, this is good, because this is similar to what Renshiro did, remember that round, where you're almost putting him in a position where he can cut off crosses and still disrupt the enemy. Those Candelas can travel very far. You can send a Candela into tea room from karaoke window.
MNM tentative in their approach here. I think they recognize the weight that is put on this round.
There it is.
In the Wub come out there and just give Solotov away a little bit. There's a lot of vertical here for him to contend with as well. Tyrant, he's getting softened up along with Solotov as though those vertical angles start to get used. Renshiro going to be credited with the first blood here in this round. He takes Tyrant out. Maybe not seen as much value as we would have liked from those Roteros as players continue to fall. Solotov goes untraded. Nello downed in process as well. This is shaping up to be a flawless here for BDS. They very well could be back in this thing in the driver's seat quite soon, Demo.
This is not good. Not good at all for MNM. They've just collapsed, and not in the good way. As in they've collapsed to the floor. MNM all over the place. 2 kills back though. 2v3, but with 15 seconds to go and Diffuser on the other side of the map, there's no chance that Nafe could pull off any heroics here today. BDS look as if they're going to be locked in, and yeah, they will be locked in. 6-4. What's going on, Ollie? We sat there and we...
default cameras that are up.
We criticised BDS for not looking on top of their game. Those have been 4 of the worst Skyscraper attacks I've seen. What's the plan? What's the execute? They don't look as if they have any idea what they're doing in these attacks.
They've not even been, like, incredible rounds from BDS either. I just think they've been doing the basics, doing what they need to do. You know, BDS aren't going out of the way to get these kills. They're being gifted, a lot of them.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Severe lack of direction, and both teams have seen a lack of direction so far today on the attack. We criticised BDS for it when they were attacking. We're going to criticise MNM for it as well, because that lack of direction is apparent. You know, you get Geisha open, and then everything sort of stalls and slows down to a halt. You lose a couple of players to vertical. You're not really able to deal with the utility that well. Difficult stuff here. BDS ready and set to take this into a straight best of 1 on Clubhouse.
10 seconds left.
MNM have got 2 chances at taking it into an overtime.
5 seconds to insertion.
I do wonder about the chance of chaining a couple of rounds together, especially when you've been unsuccessful on the attack so far. Not looking great for MNM right now.
MNM, they've, I suppose, answered my call, Ollie. Remember I was speculating about Glaz and your Yings and get all the fun stuff in. They're going for it. Oh, Nath. Actually get caught up by the Kite Claw. BDS. I mean, the thing is, with MNM running like no Thatch or no EMP grenades, Kai's can be a lot more helpful than compared to the Bandit, just because you don't have to think about Bandit tricking, just throw it down on the wall and that's it.
They haven't got a single nade. They got 6 smokes. Surely you bring glass nades.
Yeah, I guess, but...
You're not going to get the value out of 6 smoke grenades, surely.
You'd be surprised. This mirror window, this is the tricky one.
Nate's going to try and open up this wall. It looks as though he will get it done.
He's insane. How's he got away with that?
He shouldn't really, should he? But the job's been done now. Solotov. Maybe going to look for a bit of a hop in. That one doesn't go through the window and instead takes a ton of damage. Gets caught in the Wamai, but finds the kill regardless. Hops himself in, but immediately gets cut down by a Lems. Tyrant, he's going to take out Evac. Left in the 2 versus 3. Tyrant might find himself a second here. He needs to find this kill desperately. Getting challenged from both sides. Users getting softened up as well. A Lems full white flash. Users a lot of work to do. Well, the C4 is going to finish the job and seal the deal. Bit of a frustrated rush attempt there from MNM to get that round over and done. And well, BDS, what a comeback demo.
Bad from MNM on those attacks. Played 5, lost 5. You can't scrape over that. MNM needs some serious adjustments in that department. Big, like, major surgery. Major surgery needs to be done in terms of how that team wants to play Sky. They tried to play out about, what, 3 different ways there? Figure out one. Figure out something new, because those didn't even work.
Well, that was BDS's map pick. I always like to say the team that wins the second map of the best of 3 usually goes on to take the whole thing. We're headed to Clubhouse after this break. Our analysts are going to break it down.
Gamers, UNICEF and I need you by our side for a real-life mission. A mission to protect the rights of every child. After news cameras have left, UNICEF is here. Every day, everywhere, but particularly where it's needed most. Did you know that more than 170 million children need UNICEF's humanitarian aid this year? At Gamers Without Borders, many of you have already chosen UNICEF, and I thank you for that. Choosing UNICEF is the easiest and smartest decision you can make, because you're investing in a child, and investing in a child guarantees lifelong returns, not only for that child, but also for their community and for our world.
The divisions in the world are stark. Recent years have shown some of the largest natural disasters ever in history. And that really hits hardest the people who had the least to begin with. These people need help. It would be a real tragedy if all these advances in science and health and technology only benefit people in a position to pay for them. There should be no lesser standard if you happen to be poor. These problems can be overcome. Direct Relief is a humanitarian, nonprofit health organization. The focus has been on the least fortunate, most vulnerable people. On a good day, things are tough for a lot of people in this world and in this country. And what we can do is mobilize private resources for their benefit and make it available free of charge. We're the first nonprofit in the history of the United States to obtain accreditation just like a commercial distributor. And it's been expanded geographically to every country in the world and every state and territory of the United States. What's now Direct Relief officially was started in 1948 as a private effort of a war immigrant businessman named William Zimden. The basic guiding principles of a war immigrant businessman really influence what Direct Relief has done ever since, and they begin with just serving the people who need help. We have this great privilege of engaging with people who come in from very different backgrounds, but with the same purpose of trying to just do something good. It doesn't matter if you're typing or talking on the phone. or working on the warehouse floor, they're all part of an effort that means something bigger, and that is the fuel that kind of keeps you going. It gives you some sense that there is a way to make meaningful progress, even for a little organization that started at a kitchen table, but that's what provides motivation in life. The notion that many people, just by virtue of where they're born, the color of their skin, the country they live in, they're going to get sicker, they're going to stay sicker longer, and they're going to die sooner. That's pretty good motivation. These issues are too big for any one organization to address. We really work hard to honor these guiding principles, invite people to participate, and we are sure thankful for the thousands of people across the country and world who have become part of Direct Relief by virtue of their participation.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
Demo is upset, guys. I don't like seeing Demo upset, all right? Sort it out.
I'm totally cool with that.
It's one apiece in our EU semi-final here at Gamers Without Borders. Jacob, you said that it could happen. This 2-0 was on the cards for MNM, okay? But it could have been a clean win, but instead this series just got very interesting, right?
I figured that first half from MNM looked really, really smart. And I did think for a split second we were going to have a really fast series and this thing was going to be over quickly. Jesse and I were even wondering whether this might have been the worst best of 3 BDS would have played in their history in Rainbow Six, but they saved it. They're fine. Skyscraper defense was exactly the thing that they were hoping to play into. But my concern was mostly that Leakafact looked like he was the only guy who was doing anything in that first half for a little while, Jesse. I feel like, he might have been like 9-3 and everyone else had anywhere from 0 to 2 kills in that first half. So it looked bad to start with.
Yeah, it certainly did, and I think we saw a lot of players in MNM popping off at the beginning. There was something I said in the pregame of this map. I said, Soltov, he's a great player on defense, but you got to watch out for him when he switches to attack. You saw his KD there. He ended off with a 9-9 KD. Doesn't look too bad, but he was 8-4 at the half. He went incredible in that first half at a 2.0 KDR, and then 1-5 on the attack. He really struggled to get things going, and we saw exactly what I was worried come out. We saw the gimmicks start popping off. We saw the Ying at the end. We saw the Glass come out a couple of times, and it never seemed to land for this team. It's unfortunate because they did start off trying to play more structured, traditional siege. They were just trying to win their gunfights. Sometimes on attack on this map, man, it's so difficult to be able to win those opening engagements, and Shaiko and Lickyfact were really putting them in the dirt. So they tried to get a little creative with it. They tried to get kind of gimmicky with it. It really did not go the way of MNM, and they ended up losing every single attacking round, giving BDS 6 in a row, including their final attack of their own. Really impressive stuff from BDS, not only just to be able to perform so well on the defense, but also mentally come back from a map like this, 4-1 down on map points. Very, very tough situation, but they pulled through.
Yeah, the mental game extremely strong, and I feel like, you know, everyone had these expectations on Shaiko's shoulders for such a long time. Leaky Fact was just like, here, give me the backpack for a bit. I've got this, don't worry. Now, I feel like Ollie is right in mentioning that, you know, the momentum has now violently shifted into BDS's favor right now, okay? Carrying that momentum into the final map, I would say that it's theirs to lose, Jacob.
It's definitely a more back and forth scenario on Club. I definitely believe MNM can still pull things back. I don't think that they're going to be looking at Skyscraper too heavily and thinking that it's something that they can't shake off, mostly because when you lose 6 rounds in a row, I think there's something in the back of your head that says this is like a bit of a one-off. Maybe you even thought a couple of rounds prior that this wasn't something that you had the ability to pull back. I like Club just as a map in general because it's the single greatest proving ground that we have in Rainbow Six. There's usually always one map in every game. It's like, this is the most even battleground you can have. And for me, that's always been Club because it tests your fundamentals down to the core. BDS have had problems with speed on attack, and that was something that's still even reared its ugly head in map 2. And that's going to be something that's tested on Club. MNM are going to need to be that same beast on attack that they usually are. That will be tested on Club. So I'm liking that this is probably the most even place that we could have gone to see which of them is actually going to grand finals.
You hate to say it, though, don't you? You hate to say it that MNM, you know, they get ahead in a series and then they either get in their own heads or they get complacent. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's just the MNM curse, Jesse.
Exactly. And I mean, I think Demo said it best on the cast when he said that if MNM win Club, that is the signal that times have changed. Because MNM have always been this team who have been, you know, mentally in their own heads. They've never been able to push it to that final extreme. And now coming onto map 3, going down 6 rounds in a row on that final map, this will test, will test their mental, right? Do MNM have that ability to push forward through these tough times? And B, are BDS still the kings of Clubhouse? Because they were incredible on this map last year. They had an 89% win rate throughout year 7. This year, they've played the map once. They lost it to Heroic. If they play it again and lose it to MNM, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty clear sign that this is not the same Clubhouse MNM team, or Clubhouse BDS team, I should say, that we saw in year 7.
Ooh, I like it. Jesse with the stats. He just pulls them out of it here, there, and everywhere. I love it.
It's MO, right. Dude, yeah.
Jacob. Okay, man. Jacob, I'm going to come to you quickly before we jump into our final map. BDS or MNM? What are you saying?
I love BDS. They're half the reason I have a career in esports in the first place, so a lot of love for the boys, but I do think this is probably the time for the changing of the guard, and if any team was going to succeed in this current meta, it's going to be MNM. I'll give it to him.
Ooh, Jesse, you backing the same team?
I'll be contrarian. I think BDS, you know, they are a very dominant team. We finally see Shaiko starting to pop off. Licky Fact playing well as well. Yeah, let's split the desk.
I like this. We're splitting the virtual studio here. I want to hear from Demo and X. Who do you guys think? Let's go into map 3 and let's round out this EU semi-final.
Barney, thank you very much indeed. I'm not sure if there's any split opinion here on the caster desk.
Let's ask the British people who's going to win. Oh yeah, always goes down well.
It's probably not the best idea, is it? It's going to be a resounding MNM. But honestly, based off that last map, based off Skyscraper, you know, we can go into all the stats. We can look at how teams are performing on this map recently. We can look at previous results. Based on everything, you look at this and you go, BDS are on the up and up. They looked good in that last half of Skyscraper. They weren't trying anything too fancy. They'd got the head around a nice, basic, fundamental version of Siege, which is often very successful, and MNM had fallen apart just a little bit. I think it's going to be very crucial to see the sides that these two teams start on Demo and how that's going to have an impact on the result as a whole.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this game. Just again, Jesse highlighted what I said earlier. It'll show where things are going for EU and how times are changing. BDS have been at the top for so long, and we said this before about other teams where they've been at the top for so long, but no one ever really stays there at the top. You know, if you go through the years, the teams that were on top, at some point it gives, at some point it breaks away. And this, honestly, this could be the tournament that cements that for BDS.
Absolutely. I have confirmation that MNM are going to be starting off on the defense here. So they can lay that woeful attacking side of Skyscraper firmly in the rearview mirror, only to be looked at in VOD review after this series is over, because they get that refreshment of starting here on the defense. Now, Jacob was talking about how it was a very balanced map, and we have, you know, quite a balanced Clubhouse at the moment. There are a lot of opportunities for both sides. I think certainly with the introduction of Brava, it does remove that bar and stage site ever so much from, you know, being in contention. So you know, you've got to look at that and you've got to weigh that in the balance things. Something else, Demo, that for me is always really key is the bans on Club. Obviously, you know, we're going to see the Solus, we're going to see the Azami likely as two things that are targeted. If MNM are going to continue to try and headlock Shaiko into the Ash pick, we maybe even see the Iana removed as well. And that's where you start to think, you know, it's all well and good trying to target Shaiko, but are you hamstringing yourselves in other ways because you know that you're leaving utility on the table?
Yeah, I think there's potential for it, definitely. It just depends what the thought process for MNM is. MNM, for me, on Clubhouse, it is almost untapped potential just because they had good foundations, and it comes down to who they have as their coach. It comes down to Julio. You know, we touched upon before, the impact this guy has had is clear to see. They've had their best finish that they've had ever, and that was, of course, at the Major. And they were, you know, they were a hair away from actually beating W7M and potentially making it all the way. Who knows what could have happened? So they're on the up. They are on the up, that's for sure. And I think obviously with a big off season that we're now into for a while, I think getting into tournaments like this and competing well at them it's critical to make sure that you are at the top of your game 24/7, 365. That's why I think it's so important for MNM, a team which we know are going to, you know, die for the badge and get that championship one day. This is what they need to do. They need to play in everything that they can.
Just having a little look here and to see the last time, or one of the last times that these two teams played off. EU Finals 2022, Clubhouse was played, and Clubhouse was won by BDS. It was a 7-2. It was a 7-2, 7-2 series, albeit it's, you know, it's historical. We've got different teams, we've got different rosters now, but it's always fun to have a little bit of a look-see just to see how these games have gone previously. I think M&M currently a much better side at Club. I think, you know, Clubhouse, we talk about it as a bread and butter map demo. You've got to be able to play Club. It's thrown into that mixture of, you know, there's a course of standard maps that all teams need to know how to play. And if you don't, then you've got a problem with your map pool. Both of these two teams, no strangers to the map, and both these two teams have a reasonable preference for it as well. The preference being very similar, in fact, for both sides, and the success rate of recent. So always that to try and factor in things as well.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get underway as quick as we can, and we can really see what this Clubhouse has in store for us. Again, the bans is what we're going to have to hone in on right from the get-go, Ollie, and see what teams want to eliminate. Here we go. We're in. Let's see what the first ban is. M&M on the defense. What's their first attack? Oh, this is a bit 2019-ish, isn't it?
It's going to be a Maverick ban demo.
We're back in 2019.
Has Maverick got nades back? Is there something that we don't know?
No, he didn't. He didn't get nades back.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's the joke.
Oh, I see.
Dearie me.
Bit of a bad joke, isn't it?
Monty ban.
You stick to riddles. You're good at riddles.
BDS are really leaning into this fear of a shield, aren't they?
Well,
the Julio influence.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because Brazil play it. That's a fact.
Julio plays it. You know, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm saying he's Brazilian.
It's another great observation.
Thank you.
Cade and Azami, the final two defenders to be removed. Solus is going to be available here in this instance. Azami, a pretty standard ban, all things considered. Start thinking about some of the value, some of the one-way angles you can create down in the basement, some of the securities you can provide yourself on the catwalk. Plenty of value in there, so no surprise to see that removed here by M&M. Maybe the only surprise is that they remove it when they start off on the defense. They could have seen the benefit of it for 6 rounds, but respecting that BDS will also get that same benefit when they switch sides.
Tyrant on the Bandit. And the Bandit on basement, here's the thing, it's a blatant troll up for basement, but it's actually what I play, so you know it's troll, right? What I like to do is I like to bandit trick dirt.
Okay.
You ever tried that?
Do you have a one eye or a ADS or something?
Nope.
Oh, just a little solo?
It's so stupid, no one ever thinks to check it. And it always works.
Or you get naded?
No, never. No one expects it. I'm that stupid, it doesn't work. I've transcended time and space. If you're a Thermite, do you ever think, oh, this guy's gonna bandit trick me in dirt? Do you?
Oh, right, so you're just hoping of people just placing utility on it and you just trick it straight away?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. Yeah.
And if you get drones, you just dip?
Yeah, pretty much, but no one ever drones it, so it's fine.
Leaky Fight not wasting any time.
Mm-hmm. And he's a bandit as well. This is the one that you probably don't want to lose.
A little bit worrying.
Garenchi up above as well. LMs, they're everywhere, Ollie.
I mean, so they should be, right? The defenders are going to be down in the basement. Church and Arsenal. You can roam, but you don't have to.
They're all in. Marvin Harry's in. It's Kevin ready.
Typically, there's two schools of thought. You either vie on the stairs for a little bit of control and just for a bit of presence, or you have a full-blown roam. MNM have gone for the first option, where they hang around on the stairs and just try and provide a little bit of presence, but ultimately, you do end up giving a lot of map control over very quickly.
Yeah, Kide being banned out.
Sculpt this.
Kide being banned out's good, mostly because EFAC can actually do his job. Can obviously go through the impact grenades with little ease. You got plenty of pellets. Unless a team is bringing 10 sets of impacts, you'll be fine. And I personally have never seen that. It's 10 impacts. That's the only way you counter that.
I think you'd lose the round in other ways, wouldn't you?
Probably.
Still, the vertical can be done now as BDS, whilst they've got all the control in the world, they're still up against the clock, and they've still got to try and make something happen here. Shaiko going to be hanging around in and around blue, maybe turn his attention over towards Stock Hatch. Leaky Fat going to be the first to fall. Nath manages to find him. Nade's now going to get sent on in. Nade doesn't quite bounce far enough, though.
Need to clear blue. Need to clear blue. That is the most important position in this bomb site. Whoever has blue wins. Facts. No way around it. And I would like to see BDS send someone down an oil pit. I think you need that prong. It should be Shaiko. Shaiko should be down that ladder right now.
Renchi there just getting smoked out the last second before the frag goes through. Bride eyeing up a drop here into Moto. No more time left and kills starting to come through. 2 for BDS. Renchi drops into the smoke as users. He's going to find one onto Bride. That's kicked down on the ground. 9 seconds left. There's a scramble to try and recover that diffuser. Nello got a lot of work to do here. Elemzi's had to pick it up and immediately start the plan to extend the round. But Shaiko, he is there to cover. BDS, they get away with one there, Demo. It wasn't looking great for a time, but the kills came, and they came in their direction.
All about Shaiko. Round win for him. Just because he won that engagement in blue. That's it. That's what it comes down to. You win that blue engagement, you win the round. That's it. As simple as black and white. It's just him. He's back. Somehow, Shaiko has returned.
He's had one round. Calm down. But to be fair,
got 3 kills.
He did get as many kills as he got in the first map in the first round. So there is, yes, an argument to say that he's back in some way, because I highly doubt he drops a donut from here on out.
Well,
what about this for a second choice site?
CC, that's what I was going to mention.
I don't think it's a second choice site at the minute.
See, the issue is with this site is without Azami, it's very weak. With Azami, very strong. Without, very weak. And look at this. What on earth are they cooking up? You seeing this?
Yeah, so we saw this at the major. And I'll be honest, it didn't always go too well for MNM. They really like to play this mirror window, and I'm just not entirely sold on it, basically. I don't think that it is the winning formula, shall we say.
I mean, if you're EFAC, you just nade the castle barricade and you're in. That's it. Neutralize the threat.
They played it a lot against M80.
Oh, Solotov. Oh, that's actually, honestly, you'd be raging for Solotov, but getting killed by a nuke who you should be seeing. But because EFAC didn't have it on and just sat in a corner. Wow. He thinks it's clear, but it's not.
Shaco going to pick himself up a nade kill here as well. The pings look good, and the throw is true. 2 kills here for BDS, and they're making this look pretty darn effortless at the moment, Demo. They haven't taken a lick of damage in return. All of that in the first half of the round as well. They can now start to try and get this open. That mirror window down in Lounge is just lost. Like, I'm very confused about why that has been played.
Yeah, look at the setup from MNM, and they really are grasping at straws. They really are. You're trying these unorthodox strategies against a team that knows this map inside and out. Knows it inside and out. They're on their turf. You know, this is an away match for MNM. And BDS just they're comfortable here. This is their fortress. They're just they're running for the motions.
The only saving grace at the minute that MNM have got is they've got a couple of nitros. We're going to see the wall now get opened. That's going to allow free line of passage for the plant to go in on the default spot. And there's a lot of firepower stacking up here inside of the garage. Usus is good for 1, but that is all he will get. Shaiko.
Elney's back.
Certainly back, judging off that shot. C4 swings and misses. A little bit of a Sphere Sun coming out now as well. Nath wins the engagement on with EFAC. Takes a huge chunk of damage in return. And the all-important C4 that you were relying on is now being surrendered. Renshiro, he's going to find one onto Nath. The diffuser is being recovered, but not required. Renshiro says, guys, I'm just going to go for kills. I know where they are. A little pre-fire through the wall onto the top of the stairs and a pre-fire onto the second. Much better from BDS. I don't want to say it, but this ain't looking great, Demo.
No, it's not. It really...
it depends on which side of the coin you sit.
Yeah. I just don't think it's looking good. I really don't. I think MNM right now, they need to find something. Anything. Because this could be a quick one. Knowing BDS and what they're like, Ollie, if they're in the mood, they'll steamroll. They will.
Shaiko's in the mood. He's feeling a sort of way. He's 5-0 right now. Renshi, 3-1. BDS have gone from not being able to buy a kill, not being able to win a single gunfight, to not really putting a foot wrong. I think a lot rides on this round. We're seeing a little bit of adaptation. We've sacked off the bandit. Maybe a good thing, in all honesty. Nate's going to bring the mirror, and we're also going to get Tyrant on the Warden. Obviously feeling that maybe the smokes and some of the vertical pressure that was coming in was potentially just a little bit too much. So that at least can now be dealt with.
Yeah, maybe. Again, it's just MNM need to adapt. You know BDS, they're not going to do anything differently. That's sure as anything that you will see in this game. BDS will do the same old stuff time and time again. It's up to MNM to adapt and how they will throw BDS off their game plan. I would like to see MNM go for a more aggressive style of play. Look at what they were doing on Border. BDS couldn't do anything against that playstyle. Why all of a sudden have MNM went back into a shell? Has that Skyscraper game really messed them up that much that they've just decided to change the playstyle? Where's the confidence? BDS couldn't handle the confidence. BDS couldn't deal with Solotov running around, not thinking, just killing everything. Why change it now? What's happened?
Something that has remained is Usus' consistency. Still kill leader here inside of this one, not really playing on the top ops either. Going to be playing on the old smoke here.
Reloading.
You just feel like BDS is setting up and biding the time. They're not looking to rush this. They know they've got full map control. They know that they're going to get this breach open nice and easily. think a C4 was maybe used there in order to stop that charge from going off, because they've got no impact, so I'm not entirely sure what went on with that one, but we're a C4 down in Nath's hand. There needs to be a lot more attention paid toward blue as well this time. This engagement with Shaiko is
all about blue.
So important.
It is. I mean, I'm watching BDS, and it's as if they're breathing. You don't even think about it. You just do it. That's the vibes it gives off. They just do it. Look at the burn. All the utility goes in. That's what I'm talking about from MNM. That right there, Ollie, that little bit of aggression to throw BDS off their game. That's what they need to do.
Nade comes in, is perfectly cooked, lands at Solotov's feet. Shaiko picks himself up another. He's storming his way in through at the moment. Just backs off a little bit as he takes the next engagement, but User shuts him down. C4 from Tyrant as well. All of a sudden, it's flipped, and MNM are with an advantage. They don't have a C4 in hand, and Alems is going to do damage to Tyrant from above. The diffuser cold is going to now be collected. Alems, he sits on 1 HP, tosses out the smoke, covers off the line of sight, immediately drops into the Toxic Babe, but doesn't take the tick damage. How does he get away with that? The plant now going to start to go down under the cover of Renshiro. MNM should choose to move on this while it's a 2v1, but no, they wait too long. Renshiro finds Nath, and it's all now to do for Usus. He's had a great series so far, but is this a step too far? Yes, it is. Alems, how did you get away with that plant?
Yeah, I mean, it was really well played. That's what this is BDS. This is it. The genetic code is back. They pull rounds out of thin air. That's what they're all about. Perfect example.
Is going to do a lot for the confidence of BDS.
Yeah, MNM right now, they're mudded. Absolutely mudded. Does the pressure get to this team too much?
I don't know if they're feeling the pressure yet. Like, remember, we're not even in a final yet.
I know, but I'm just saying, over the course of the past 6 months, whenever push comes to shove, this team plays really well in quote-unquote the matches that don't matter as much. You look at invite group stage, stuff like that. And whenever it comes down to the big moments against the big teams, it's all right, them, okay, I would say they had a great game. They beat M80, for example, okay? They're able to beat VP. But, they go up against teams like FaZe, go up against teams like G2. They lose. Sure, you beat Revan. Congratulations. You beat Fury. You beat Sandbox. Well done. But whenever it really comes to beating the best of the best, what goes wrong? Oxygen, Invite, pressure got to them, 8-7, 8-7 loss. Bat followed on, BDS, pressure got to them, they lost. Up against W7M, could have won that first map, pressure got to them, they lost. It's a recurring theme about this team, whenever they look so good. That first map, they were so damn good. And then they get inside their own head, and look what happens.
10 seconds insertion.
Trainwreck. And the thing is, they're going up against BDS. This isn't to knock BDS, but they're not even the best of the best at the minute.
This is a side point. It's just a side point. I think the final piece for this team, I think they need a mental coach.
Ooh.
I think because they don't have one, and I think they need one. Big time. You look what a mental coach did for a team like Rogue, where Giddens would get inside his own head all the time. That guy's no, surprise from choking games and choking big moments.
Are we taking applications?
Get us in there. Daniel, Cal. We've got the jerseys and all. You wouldn't even need a jersey. But that's what they need. That's the remaining piece of the puzzle for this team. I think they need a mental coach because they get inside their own head. Big time.
Well, they've just taken a timeout, so hopefully they're going to be able to spend a little bit of that reconvening, but this looks like it's just put BDS into another gear. Look at him go! Renshiro's even taking out his own team. It's 3 versus 1, 1 versus 2. Nath is the sole survivor after 50 seconds of the round. Gonna make himself a little bit of an impact. Shaiko's got the diffuser. Doe could be called going out as well. BDS using everything to gain an advantage here. Nath takes a ton of damage. Shaiko eventually going to try and get that kit nailed down to the floor. Leaky fight with the spray through the wall. The aggression was on every single front. Brede didn't waste any time. The wall was open straight through. Disabled the mirror window. Bish, bash, bosh. Nothing stopping BDS here. This could very easily be a 7-0 demo.
Like, see, out of us two, who is the better handwriting?
Probably me.
Get that apology letter writ up to Shaiko immediately.
Oh, do we have to
get that sent to him? Get it sent to him.
I mean, I'll apologise if he wins the whole thing, because, to be honest, even if I knew the result of this map before we cast the series, I would have cast the first map exactly the same. Shocking performance.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Now 8-1, brilliant. You're doing what you're good at. You're doing what we know you can do. Congratulations. This is expected at this point.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
Things aren't looking good for the Molotovs and the Marshmallows.
And they're changing it up. They're going for an extended roam on the basement.
I can't see what could go wrong with this demo. If you've just been dismantled inside of 30 seconds, an extended roam is not going to help you, surely. Maybe it does. Maybe what
do you have to lose
there in the field?
What do you have to lose? It's either you win a round or you get it done quick. It's up to you. You know, you win-win. But this guy, look at this guy's like a train, isn't he?
Right. That's much better.
That's better.
Now just relax.
Oh,
Wrench's already down oil pit. What's going on here? He's called the scan. Nave's there to greet him. Now you've got to get yourself back to site. Users picks up one as well as a trade. Nello, he joins the party. Fantastic shot onto Shaiko in a second. Over onto Brede. We've just flipped. Both teams are just running at each other, demo.
Honestly, it's two quickest rounds we've had back-to-back in years, it feels like.
This is fierce.
Incredible.
Absolutely fierce from both sides. I think, you know, kudos to MNM there for actually being ready to meet BDS out there and say, you know what, like you say, we've got nothing to lose. Let's extend a little bit. Give them something to fight for in the early part of the round. And BDS almost saw that. They saw that EFAC had fallen and Renshi was too deep. He was already in oil pit. He couldn't turn back. You just got to double down at that point. I tell you what, I hope we don't see what happened to MNM, where they just start doubting themselves and losing gas now. And if BDS start doing that, this could just be the most topsy-turvy game of scene you've ever seen.
I have no words anymore. If MNM win this game, mate, where do you go from there? Like, where do you go?
I mean, you probably go and buy some lottery tickets if you're MNM, because they're incredibly lucky if they've won this game.
I think that's what you need. I mean, I'll be honest. To win championships these days, I think you need just a little bit of luck.
Oh,
you do.
Of course you do. You need a little bit.
You need a little bit of luck. And
Molotov hasn't got much luck at the minute.
That's trying too hard for a kill right there.
Yeah, he's giving his luck away.
Solotov 1 and 5.
Solotov a bad Skyscraper as well. It's a couple of bad maps back to back. You've not seen every day from Solotov.
That's why I'm saying I think I've said it before. I think he's the lifeblood because he's the consistent one. Consistency wins games. Facts. I mean, BDS are just running through, you know, the basics, aren't they? Get the wall open. Look towards now bedroom. Get that wall open. And just play Siege. It's BDS at their best, isn't it? This is where they are the most dangerous team in the world.
I don't think BDS need to overcomplicate this too much either.
No.
They've got the opening pick. They've got the breach open. Nello is going to be a bit of a problem here. He's got quite a bit of utility knocking around him. But where's the person ready for the trade?
What kind of take are they going for? That's what I want to know. Because they haven't got garage yet. Okay, I'm assuming it's going to be a push in from construction because Bride's over here, and of course he has the diffuser. Bride's 0-5, by the way. But they're winning. So I don't think he cares.
Tyrant does something to level this man count back. I'm surprised he's not seen too more pressure inside a garage there. We get the nade over the top to deal with the mute jammer. In fact, there's no mute jammer there. Shaco's just going to hop himself straight in, picks the kill onto Tyron, turns his attention for the second. There's nobody left inside a garage. Instead, Nello's caught looking the wrong way. Users below, his C4's good for one, but that is all. Bride, opportunity now to get the plant down. 45 seconds. Users got a very tough task ahead of him. Picks himself one, can't find the second. Alem's there, ready to put an end to the madness. Chalk another round up on the board for BDS. An incredible first half for them there. 5-1 split demo.
Never say never, mate, but I think it's done. It feels like border, but the other way around. It's now where do we sit now with BDS, right? After the first map, where we've never seen that team play that bad, ever, to then them bouncing back, and especially now in Club, they're at their best again. How can a team be that turbulent? How?
It could just come down to something as simple as not playing an official for a while.
Maybe. I mean, they're lucky it's not best of one. They are very lucky it's not best of one.
Not playing an official for 4 weeks. MNM coming off the back of a major. They've got that hype and they've got that momentum, but I mean, in reality, it isn't enough to carry them through. They just get one map.
Obviously, MNM would have felt, pretty confident going into this game. Obviously, playing the major, look how good they've done, yada, yada, yada. And then I told them, fellas, keep in mind, BDS now have like 18 maps on you. Yous are done. And that's true. BDS have so much research in this team over the major because MNM played the most maps out of any team.
Most maps, most rounds.
So
that's why I saw
it is.
The most kills.
That's how that works, isn't it?
MNM did certainly give a lot away at the major. But, I mean...
That's an understatement.
To get as far as they did, they had to. See if a turn of the half is enough for them here. Nothing too standout being brought. We've got Leaky Fac on the Valkyrie. Tyrant. Just going to be teasing there. Waiting for the drone to get ahead of him. Still conscious of blue. MNM certainly not moving as quickly as we saw BDS move with those pre-placed drones and really having that confidence to push into the map quite quickly and start getting work done. On the contrary, we've got a relatively slow-moving MNM here, usually at about the halfway point in the round. We did see a lot of the work already being done.
MNM, what are you going to do? This is it, do or die. There's no lower bracket, Ollie. MNM lose this, they're not going to the tournament. This is it. All the marbles. Good. First pick.
Way to kick off.
Ying, alive, which is always going to be a good thing to have. No Warden. So this can get pretty spicy. I mean, we talk about that blue battle, Ollie, a lot of the time. What better operator to drop into blue than a Ying? How do you fight against that? Oh, wait, you don't, because you can't see.
Oh, Tyrant gets Solotov, gets incredibly lucky there. Shuts Shaiko down. That reverse angle not being too kind to Shaiko at all. A lot of the floor open inside a kitchen now. Drones can start to get a little read on what's going on inside a site. 40 seconds left, so still a good amount of time. And as MNM have just slowly whittled away the BDS forces, things aren't looking too bad at all. Kill comes out as a trade, and Renshiro picks himself up too, but he's going to have to pick up one. Third is found. He's going to dip himself away. The diffuser not in the hands at the moment. Users is going to have to go and recover that, and he does. Renshiro, this rotation, he's being Dokubi called right now as well. Users going to start to try and get that plant down. There's no doubt that the plant goes down, but is it able to be held? Users just gets away, narrowly avoids there any sort of conflict, and well, Renshi tries his best, but you can't be too hard on him for losing out on that one.
What do you think? Penny, for your thoughts?
I think that I'm surprised BDS didn't roam.
Comeback, question mark?
Not sure yet.
Not sure.
They're going to gym and bedroom, so maybe BDS feel like they don't want to roam too much and they just want to try and bunker and get these 2 rounds in. 2 rounds isn't a lot to find on the defensive club either. And an entire clean sweep? Difficult stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know how I feel yet. I agree with you. This is...
Tentative is the word, Demo.
I want to believe. I do want to believe. But I'm also not an idiot. Tricky one. You know?
You sure about that?
I'm an idiot in some things. I think everyone knows that. Like, what would you say I'm an idiot in?
I don't know.
What am I one of the worst people in?
Probably Ranky.
No. No. Playing one of the best ranked stacks in the world. My stack makes Fresh's stack rage quit. What does that say? Huh?
I'd like to see MNM do it again, you know, because that little bit of confidence that they've just shown us there, it shows that they've still got it.
Yeah.
It hasn't entirely been crushed in that Skyscraper. They got lucky with a couple of things, but as we've already said, you need a little bit of luck sometimes.
You need a little bit of luck, yeah.
You can never, you know, you can never be mad at someone because they got a little bit lucky. Because one day you'll get a little bit lucky.
Oh dear, 2 drones blundered there, Ollie.
I think a couple of drones got lost in the previous round as well from Nathan. He actually went and collected them both.
Well, they've lost 4 drones.
Maybe they're going to do that again.
They've lost 4 drones. There's two in pocket. There's still potential for them to get these drones in and figure out what they want to do. So they should know that now cache is clear. Can just move in. Seems to be pretty one-dimensional for the most part. Pretty standard what you would expect to see. No mirror, which makes this attack a lot easier from the perspective of MNM, because we know how tricky all it can be of clearing out a mirror window inside construction, for example.
Can be incredibly difficult. It was something that MNM brought, and the solution was just to rush it.
Yep.
It worked for BDS, but it doesn't always work. Solotov going to get himself onto the window here and see if there's anything that he can glean from peeking on through.
He needs some confidence.
He knows there's a player inside a gym as well. They've got some pretty good intel at the moment, but they are taking the time.
There we go.
Solotov finds that pick onto Renshiro, potentially lines himself up a second here, users peeking along with him.
One guy below.
They have removed the player from gym, so it's one less thing to worry about. But as you mentioned, player below, couple of C4s still in hand. You've not really got the time to let this go all the way. You need to get some things done quite quickly here, and ideally you want to be looking toward logistics hatch for a bit of pressure.
Yeah, it comes down to Olems here with that C4 from below. He dropped down for a reason. He has to make sure it happens, but it looks the C4's gone all. It looks as if he's maybe blown it prematurely, and now, if you are BDS, you're in a bit of a tricky one now, Ollie. Flashbangs go in. Should be the execute coming from MNM. Even going to check below. Finally, the wall's getting opened. Ollie, they're cutting it close.
It's taken a long time for that to happen. 15 seconds left. Now the wall starts to get opened. Flashes spent. Shaiko swings, picks one, leaky back with a C4. Nathan is going to get the plant down. Is there sufficient cover? It looks as though the answer is going to be yes. Nathan, he gets away, drops down through the hatch. Users taken out there. Both remaining players for MNM are below. Solotov has to fight himself through the stairs. It's an impossible challenge. Nathan in Narnia. How has he got himself over there? He too shall fall. It was perfect until it wasn't, Demo. Shaiko, what a huge frag he was able to get.
Oh. Nath dropping the hatch. That was not intended.
No, it was just, he was trying to move out of the way.
At the moment, and that's the nerves got to him. Nerves. Telling you, this team. I think MNM's worst enemy is themselves. And that may be pretty cliche, but I don't think there's a team that is closer to that statement than them. I really don't.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Map and series point here for BDS.
I think it's done. There's no way BDS drop four defenses. No way.
For a little bit of context, by the way, for anyone that isn't keeping up with the B stream, that is currently 1-1 as well. Wild won map 1, Wolves won map 2.
Wolves BDS final, brilliant.
They are fighting it out on Cafe. I mean, you say that, Demo. I'm not going to give the score, but tune in because it isn't as clear-cut as you might think.
Oh, but you always say the team that wins the second map wins the third. I'm only going off your theory, unless you're saying that your theory is actually botched.
I'll be honest, it doesn't look like that at the moment. However, my theory is working here for the game that we are on, which is all that matters. A pretty hefty 6-pick coming out from MNM as well. 4 players switching up there. Solotov, the only one to remain. I'm panicking, Demo. I'm seeing a Sens, I'm seeing a Glaz, and it's match point against you. I really hope this isn't just a desperate attempt at cheesing a round out of nowhere.
Oh, Solotov almost connects. Misses out on that one, 3 and 7. He needs, again, he needs to show up here. We've highlighted Solotov, the desk has highlighted Solotov. And at the moment, he's struggling, Ollie. There we go, sums up his game. That's it. Solotov is like Shaiko in that first map. Nothing's going for him.
Yeah. 3 and 8 as well. The parallels are uncanny. I think the only fortunate thing maybe is that he wasn't, I mean, you can say he wasn't the key piece, but he's the sledge, you know, any soft breach you're looking to do, nades, you're looking toward that sledge to provide those things. Yeah, sure, you can get away with not bringing the hard breach because you're bringing the secondaries, but it does leave you a little bit vulnerable.
I've looked at the B stream, I know what you mean now. Let's just say there's a James Bond imposter in that game. Tune in, folks.
You need to lock into the A stream, Demo. We're
I know, but you have to keep up with both. But
firmly in the throes here.
I just
6-2.
I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I think BDS, they've completely gained control of this game from the word go. They're straight out of the box, straight out of it. And MNM they've been okay, but they're nowhere near the level they need to be to take down a team like BDS. That's the facts.
They've managed to find 1, but kills start to flood in. Alems picks up 2. I can imagine with the same mag there on the SMG-11. Tyrant eventually shuts him down, but that's a lot of damage that has been done for a roaming Alems up above on the mute. Criminal that wasn't properly checked out. Users could go for a little bit of a smoke play here. Tyrant's got some tools to assist him as well. You're going to have to hope that the Glaz is able to land a couple of important
this is a W7M play
here, though. Finds himself 1, levels things up. 40 seconds. It's not ideal, but it is very doable. Looks as though they've got drone info as well here. Shaiko going to be tucked in there on blue. Him and BDS just playing the crossfire for each other. Smokes come out again.
Plant in the smoke.
Covering that line of fire. Shaiko got no option but to try and pre-fire on through. The plant is going to start to go down now. Usus just needs to keep himself still and try and gain a little bit of a colour. All he needs is 1 little pixel. The Toxic Babe comes in late as the plant has been confirmed. Shaiko, eyes on the diffuser, knows where it is. He's not had the best series, but this could be a big chance at redemption. He could send his team through right here, right now. Finds it as a trade, but it's not good enough. Usus keeps himself alive. MNM hold on for 1 more round.
I didn't even clock the sense, by the way. Didn't even clock it in. And you're probably wondering why they went for the sense, I'm assuming. I can tell you exactly why. And basically, it's this W7M strat from Julia. That's what it is.
Classic.
So there's the influence that you can see from that man.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Well, you better hope he's got more influence ready to impart, or already imparted, should I say.
Look at Alems, that's put the fear in God in him, hasn't it? Like, he's straight onto it.
Straight onto the Warden.
He's not messing around.
So this site has fallen out of favour. And one of the main reasons is you do struggle to play as much info on it as you used to be able to with the, particularly the Maestro cameras.
Yeah.
Brava is a thing. Hasn't been picked onto yet. And it doesn't look like it will be picked onto. But then again, there's not too much reason to bring it. You've got Valkyrie cameras, fairly part of the course. Echo drones, you're going to just want to get rid of them. The goal is still going to be to take that top floor. BDS just creating himself a couple of pockets of safety downstairs in the basement. If it all comes down to him trying to deny the plant at the last second, he can do just exactly that.
Let's see how quick MNM can kind of stabilize a push. There's a lot of them towards the kind of strip club area. They may be looking for, you know, get pool table open first and then start moving their way through. Is that what they're going for? Could be. Nath has found the opening pick. Shaiko goes down, a huge kill to get. Renchi is also on pretty low HP, Ollie. It's a good start from MNM.
Great pick up there for MNM to kick things off. It's cost you Nath, but you've got a little bit of damage in onto Renshiro as well.
I mean, I think Nath for Shaiko, is that a good trade? In my books, I would say yeah.
7 and 9 for a 12 and 6. I'll take it. Shaiko going double positive here on club. He had a flying start though, so he did give himself a good little head start.
Also, Brid still hasn't got a kill, and they're still doing pretty well. Isn't that mad?
I mean, that's just the power of BDS, isn't it?
Yeah.
Activating Selma sequence.
MNM not really in a position to squeeze this small advantage that they've got at the moment. They are going to start to look to get open some of those walls upstairs. Everything here hinges on that top floor control. And these castle barricades are only going to further slow down the progress that could be made. There's no floor has been brought, no breaching charges, there's a couple of nades, and there's no sledge. So things are looking a little bit bleak in terms of dealing with those castle barricades. And they could be quite the problem later on into the round.
Slowing down big time. MNM. Probably now you're looking at just clearing out kitchen side and then using the holes that BDS have opened up and use it against BDS. That's probably your go-to plan. Use this. We'll get a bit of a scrap towards Lounge and goes to the call. Sees the head. Is he going to go for the pick again? But nope, just holds it for the meantime. Tyrant will be getting that diffuser down. Lambs takes more damage. Oh, there's a man runs straight in front of users. He knows exactly where he is. Is that a shotgun? I think it was. Diffuser did not get planted though. Tyrant came off at Ollie, and now Braid, I think, was actually downstairs on the echo cams. That's why the defuse did not get planted, but oh dear, Rede, this is a lonely walk by yourself. Up he goes, and yeah, into nothing. MNM, Ollie, they're doing it.
Dear, oh dear. One round, you might call it lucky, you might call it a fluke.
It can't be.
2 rounds, that's when it starts to look a little bit more convincing. MNM need another 2 if they hope to take this one into an overtime. BDS only need to get lucky once. They're going to take a timeout. I think that goes to show just how up and down volatile this game has been for BDS, is they aren't sitting here with this lead thinking, yes, this is done and dusted, we just need to get 1 round. They're still very mindful, and in the back of their mind, they know there's a chance they hit the reverse sweep on us here.
I don't know. I don't know anymore, honestly.
MNM looked pretty good after their timeout as well, for what it's worth. And this is another opportunity for them to have a quick discussion.
BDS, you need to close it out, or else I severely worry for this team moving forward if they lose this map and lose this series.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
It's kind of been like this series has been 2 halves, hasn't it? Look at the start that MNM had. The entirety of Border. The first half of Skyscraper, they were on top. And then halftime happened, where we kind of had that rehost, and it's been BDS all the way.
Something that you've brought up a couple of times, Demo, is Brede currently 0-9.
Yeah.
Just looking at this game on the face of it, Usus and Shaiko pretty much neutralizing each other out at this point. Elems is the difference maker for BDS, but only because Brede's got no kills. Brede continues on this trend. Now we know that BDS can win rounds without Brede getting kills. That's not a problem. But there's going to become a point where he's going to need to win a gunfight.
Oh, if he finishes this game with 0 kills and they lose, it is on him. They lost the game because of him. That's how that works.
You know, they've won 6 rounds without him getting a kill, that's fine, but there will be a point where he needs to get a kill.
Yeah, if you don't get kills in this game, what's the point of you being here? What's the point? You need to kill. They don't send you into a game, Ollie, with a mouse and keyboard and the M1 button doesn't work. They don't do that, do they?
If they did, I'd just rebind it to a different key. I'm quite agile like that.
Yeah. Agile. Are you agile in what? Changing controller options?
Yeah, I've got some funky keybinds.
Oh, yeah. Big battle.
Go here. Maybe playing a little bit more aggressively here. Dokkaebi Call's going to come out. Maybe just forces him back downstairs a little bit. It's kind of leaky fact that I worry
Massive
for.
kill.
Tyrant picks up a kill onto LMs. This extension isn't really working out too well at the moment. Leaky Fact will find one back as a trade, but uses his primed, ready to take one himself here. But no, gets peeked onto.
Oh dear.
Not the best challenge. You've got the DMR users. You've not got the fire rate to be challenging onto that.
He was stuck in there as well. He was stuck in pool table. He couldn't go anywhere. Is he in strip
Criminal
now?
that Leaky Fact's picked 2 there.
Is he in strip? He's in strip now, yeah? Where'd he go? Did he go back to site?
I think he got back to site.
Someone, someone's in strip. He has a strip, yeah.
Mate,
Surely
even if
not.
he doesn't get another kill, it doesn't matter.
Look at the time.
He's wasted 2 minutes of the round. He picks Nello up here. It's GG. Oh, great swing there.
Best swing in Nello's life. My goodness. I didn't even see Nello. That's unlike him. Uncharacteristic.
Unbelievable from Nello.
This is tense.
He's binned him.
Mm-hmm.
It's now back to being anyone's. But look what you've got. You've only got Hard Breach. Yeah, you've got a bit of utility in Tyrant. You're going to be going up against the full might here of BDS. You've got Shaiko. Maybe this could be Breeday's time, Demo.
Oh, just one kill. That's all he needs. If he gets one kill, he's done the job.
Versus 3, there's 1 frag each.
Oh, that was close. That was very close. Nathan takes a bit of damage. Going for the castle barricade. Tyrant, buddy, pressure's on you. That blue fight, we talk about it all the time. It is the crucial point. Linchpin for everything that goes on. Going to get fired out, going to get swung. Tyrant not challenging in towards blue. They still give Shaiko an option to look onto Motodor, Ollie.
Breeday there going to find himself in an engagement, but can't land the shots. Nath shuts him down. 2 versus 2 here. Where's the kit? It's in Tyrant's hands. Renshiro finds one. Tyrant, you've got no chance, my friend. Finds one, but it's not enough. Couldn't get the kit down. Renshiro, he stood strong in the end. Picked himself up the final 2. A nail-biting final round there. BDS managed to get it over the line against all odds. If you'd have said at the start of Border Demo that we would see BDS coming out on top in this series, I think a lot of people would have looked at you like a madman. However, here we stand. MNM struggling on Skyscraper, mixed bag of performance on Clubhouse, and BDS just grew into the match.
They did, and that was probably the issue for MNM. They allowed BDS and Skyscraper to get back into the game. I will probably pinpoint it to, if it wasn't for EFAC on Skyscraper kicking things off with 2 incredible rounds on their attacks, we would have been out of here ages ago. We would have been. Absolutely. EFAC started that, and MNM allowed him to do it. That's the difference.
Well, we are going to have an interview with BDS, but first, a very short break. See you in just a few.
Gamers, UNICEF and I need you by our side for a real-life mission. A mission to protect the rights of every child. After news cameras have left, UNICEF is here. Every day, everywhere, but particularly where it's needed most. Did you know that more than 170 million children need UNICEF's humanitarian aid this year? At Gamers Without Borders, many of you have already chosen UNICEF, and I thank you for that. Choosing UNICEF is the easiest and smartest decision you can make, because you're investing in a child, and investing in a child guarantees lifelong returns, not only for that child, but also for their community and for our world.
The divisions in the world are stark. Recent years have shown some of the largest natural disasters ever in history. And that really hits hardest the people who had the least to begin with. These people need help. It would be a real tragedy if all these advances in science and health and technology only benefit people in a position to pay for them. There should be no lesser standard if you happen to be poor. These problems can be overcome. Direct Relief is a humanitarian, nonprofit health organization. The focus has been on the least fortunate, most vulnerable people. On a good day, things are tough for a lot of people in this world and in this country. And what we can do is mobilize private resources for their benefit and make it available free of charge. We're the first nonprofit in the history of the United States to obtain accreditation just like a commercial distributor. And it's been expanded geographically to every country in the world and every state and territory of the United States. What's now Direct Relief officially was started in 1948 as a private effort of a war immigrant businessman named William Zimden. The basic guiding principles of a war immigrant businessman really influence what Direct Relief has done ever since. And they begin with just serving the people who need help. We have this great privilege of engaging with people who come in from very different backgrounds, but with the same purpose of trying to just do something good. It doesn't matter if you're typing or talking on the phone or working on the warehouse floor. They're all part of an effort that means something bigger, and that is the fuel that kind of keeps you going. It gives you some sense that there is a way to make meaningful progress, even for a little organization that started at a kitchen table, but that's what provides motivation in life. The notion that many people, just by virtue of where they're born, the color of their skin, the country they live in, they're going to get sicker, they're going to stay sicker longer, and they're going to die sooner. That's pretty good motivation. These issues are too big for any one organization to address. We really work hard to honor these guiding principles, invite people to participate, and we are sure thankful for the thousands of people across the country and world who have become part of Direct Relief by virtue of their participation.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
And there you have it. BDS enter tomorrow's Best of 5 EU final, a guaranteed donation of at least $175,000 to a charity of their choice. And they are one step closer to that spot at Gamers 8 later in the year. I'm joined in the virtual studio, of course, by Jesse and Jacob. Jacob, BDS, that is how you turn a frown upside down.
I'm happy with the prediction being wrong, if only in this one specific instance. It's weird how this thing was split basically perfectly down the middle. MNM were phenomenal for the first map and for the first half of map 2, and BDS were great for the second half of map 2 and basically all of map 3. I don't understand this dichotomy of words. I don't get how we got here, but I'm very happy that BDS still, at the very least, have some semblance of an opportunity to defend their GA championship.
I love it. You know what? We're so close to, you know what, we're going to dive into it so much more, but I am being told that LeakyFac is in fact ready for a post-match interview. We're very fortunate now that we get joined by LeakyFac, our EU Grand Finalist from BDS. Congratulations on your win, my friend. You've made it to tomorrow's final. It was touch and go for a minute, but, you know, how are you guys feeling?
Finally, we won the last map. It was a hard match. Like MNM is a really strong team, even with Julio. So yeah, finally we got to the final.
Yeah, LeakyFac, congratulations on the win, obviously. I think there was a lot of talk throughout Stage 1 about how BDS maybe was struggling with the current meta. Do you feel like you guys have a better understanding of the meta, are playing the meta better now than you were at the start of Stage 1? Or do you still feel like it's kind of a challenge for you guys to kind of get a handle on the more aggressive playstyles that some teams are bringing out at the moment?
Yeah, we have to adapt the meta, of course, because the meta is like very aggressive and like operator like Nock, Ying, Dokaibi, etc. So after our 2 loss on a duel against G2 and Heroic, we just changed all our meta. And after that, we won all our match, all our map. Just Wilds got us on the LCQ, but no map lost. Sorry, but now we have the good meta.
You've obviously had a little bit of time between when you won the major to now, and that period hasn't been met with a lot of success. It was the Invitational and it was Stage 1, but now you guys have had a month in between Stage 1 and now to really start really retooling things to what you're looking for. So what did you do for that month stretch without any official games to play? How did you prep for this event?
So after the 6, we lost 4 maps, was Oregon, Chalet, Villa and Border, and we practiced a lot this map to don't have mistake on this map. But today MNM was much more better on Border, so never mind. But yeah, we practiced the map we not good, and we still playing the map we good, like Club, Sky, Cafe, so like we showed today.
Well, LeakyFac, you have an incredible community behind you. You have fans who have been supporting you this entire time throughout this tournament, at least. Is there anything that you would like to say to them before I let you go?
Thank you for the support, everyone. Like I stream sometimes and all the time, all message like you can do this BDS. We're missing you on major, so you have to qualify for Gamer8, and we'll do everything to qualify to this competition. Because, like I said, it's our competition, Gamer8. BDS won last year. I wasn't here, and now I want to win it also like them.
Well, best of luck for your best of 5 grand final tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us in your post-match interview. Well. I mean, an interesting show-out, let's be sure. I mean, that was an extremely close match. Even if you look at, you know, BDS came back with all of that momentum, Jesse, you know, even still, MNM put up such a good fight.
They certainly did, you know, and I don't think MNM, especially after the tournament they just had in Copenhagen, they did not have a lot of time to prep for this event. I don't think they should be feeling bad about this. I'm really just happy we're seeing BDS back on top, hitting their stride once again. You know, we were a little bit worried after Stage 1, but they are coming out playing absolutely fantastically. Really excited that we saw some good attacks from them in this map too. You know, you look back on those first couple of maps and they were really struggling to get their attacking half going. They started an attack on Clubhouse. It was not an obstacle for them. Shaiko started so hot round after round. The other players were in there as well, helping out. LeakyFac, obviously a big game, so nice to see them having a really high impact on attack here on Club.
Yeah, genuinely wouldn't surprise me if the teams that were at the Copenhagen Major ended up not performing at this event nearly as well as they would have liked, because they're only coming off of only just a couple of days rest probably from the travel from that event now coming into this one. With BDS and the opponent they're going to meet in the grand final, neither one of them were at the Major in Copenhagen, and BDS are able to show off like this. The only thing I have a problem with is how long it took for BDS to warm up in the series, because when you lose 7-1, that's a pretty clear-cut sign that something is not gelling, something's not clicking the way that it needs to. props to BDS for being able to bounce back. But if we see that kind of thing happen tomorrow, I wonder if that might be a little bit too much too late.
Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. I mean, we had players who were lacking up to that point, you know, midway through map 2, but then Shaiko and LMs both turned it up in map 3. You know, the word that first came to mind when I was seeing it from like firsthand was experience. They showed experience by being down in quite a big way, but then they swung back. And let's be honest, in map 3, they dominated just those two players, Jesse.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of joked, or the casters joked about it on the cast. Bride 0 kills through the vast majority of that map. I don't believe he got one towards the end either. Was he actually 0?
I think he went 0 and 10.
0 and 10. Hey, it doesn't matter, right? You got two of the best fraggers in the world. Shaiko and Lickifat coming in. Bride can do his droning. He can do the utility work. He played all right. Doesn't matter that he's not finding those kills. Yeah, I think you're very happy to see the big gunners on BDS step up. We said after map 1, you know, Lems is the top fragger for the squad. Cool, but you don't want to see a Lems the top fragger for BDS, you know? So today, getting to see the big guys coming out, felt like they really made life difficult for the anchors on MNM. Nello really struggling to get going in this game, 5 rounds before he found his first frag. So really nice to see that coming in through and shutting down some of the key players on MNM.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, actually sticking with you, we actually have a really awesome recap that you've been touching on a little bit, and I think this is about Shaiko. Once again, we had this on map 2, now we're having it on map 3. Take us through what this is about.
Yeah, well, it was round 1 where I'll quote Demo again. He said, whoever controls blue will win the round on basement. And that happened almost every single round, usually because of Shaiko. Round 1, he comes through, takes the blue site, managed to get 3 kills for his troubles. He played really, really well here. He played it on both attack and defense, coming through with frag grenades, coming through with support, coming in with Renshiro. Whoever he had with him, he was doing so good at taking this blue bomb or blue part of the map. We see round 3 again. He's going to land a sick nade. At this point, his KD is absolutely absurd to start this map. A nades take down Saltop, finds another one of the kill feed. You see it on Nello. There's Renshiro trying to help him out, coming in through Oil Pit as well. And this was such a common battleground between these two teams. And you'll notice those first 2 rounds, Shaiko pops off. They win rounds 1 and 3. Round 5, the tides turn. Renshiro's in a little bit early. He dies to Nave. We see MNM actually winning the battle inside of blue. What happens? They come back and they win this round. Round 5 goes the way of MNM. We switch sides once again. Round number 7, Saltop catches out Shaiko from above. That's blue control again in the favor of MNM. Who's gonna win this? It's MNM after they get that blue control. Round after round we saw this. This was the one exception. Round 9, always controlled by Shaiko, but a sick little smoke plant comes through from Tyrant, blocks off blue, making it not a factor any longer. Shaiko just cannot afford to peek this because he is going up against the Glaz. So this was the one round where our trends didn't hold, but it had to be a really unique strategy coming through from MNM to stop blue from being so impactful. And of course, Shaiko not able to clutch this one out despite having that strong position in the 1v2. He loses the fight as he swings out into the hallway. And then after this round number 11 is the final time that we see a fight around blue. And this time they try to, you know, cheese around it again. They use the Capitao rather than the smokes, the fire bolts rather than the smoke bolts. But Shaiko expertly dodges it, still has a great angle on Tomoto, finds the pick on Anello looking through that angle, and is able to really have that impact late in this round. Blue, so important throughout this game, and Shaiko, a big part of the reason why BDS were so consistently able to hold it down.
I mean, it was such an impressive show out from them. I kind of want to touch on MNM very briefly with you, Jacob. I mean, they were trying to throw BDS, weren't they? At the beginning of map 3, they were trying to throw them by playing unusual strats on defense. You know, trying to be a bit awkward. But then BDS just didn't get faced at all. Is this again like leaning into the experience side of things, or are BDS just incredibly good on this map?
Maybe a little bit of both, honestly. I will applaud any team that tries going for a mirror trick on plat wall. As much as they were trying to go for it, I didn't think it worked. Like, I thought it was a 4-0 half for MNM to start off with. And when you're on defense and you lose the first 4 straight, I don't really know if there is a way for you to come back in, because an attacker-sided Clubhouse is just not something that we see in the meta much these days. I love that MNM were trying things, but it was like you said, if you go a little bit too unorthodox, then that's very, very easy for a team like BDS with that level of experience to read into. So props to MNM for giving it a shot. It just didn't work out today.
Well, it is that time of the day where we get to crown an MVP of the series, brought to you by Savvy Games Group. And that MVP is... I'm just going to say it. It's Lickifat from BDS. I mean...
I'm cool with it.
Jesse, you cool with it as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, LickyFac has always been like the consistent player on BDS. It's him or it's Shaiko, and LickyFac today definitely put up the numbers. You know, had really, really strong map 2 kind of coming through that start to put up the numbers, and then map 3 as well. So consistent coming through from LickyFac. So yeah, great to see him popping off and being that new young blood, that depth that BDS have really needed.
Yeah, made the argument that if it's not for him, they don't win map 2. Skyscraper is a complete wash. It's a 2-0 series. MNM are going to the grand finals immediately if LickyFac doesn't have that 9-2 half to start things off on Skyscraper, because it felt like he was one of the only people doing anything on that map. And then as soon as BDS are able to turn things around, he can kind of turn the Jets off a little bit more. So yeah, completely happy with this pick.
An essential element of that roster, and he wasn't even in that roster last year at Gamers 8, so who knows what's going to happen later in the year, but we still got a grand final, best of 5 to get through, and we're also going to show you our updated bracket before we go into tomorrow's matchups, because it looks a little bit like this. Wild managed to close it out against Wolves with a 2-1. 2 close matches, as you could hear from Ollie and Demo. They were both talking about it and saying how close it was on that B stream, but BDS will be facing off against Wild tomorrow in our best of 5 grand final in Europe. Also, we've got a schedule for you, as it is on your screen, 12 o'clock CEST. That is when Sandbox Gaming will go up against Cyclops Athlete Gaming. And then later on at 4 p.m. CEST, we've got another best of 5. And that is our European Grand Final between BDS and Wild. Speaking of Wild, what a wild day of matches it has been. I've enjoyed it so much. Thank you so much to everyone for watching and supporting all of your favorite teams. Thank you so much to production for creating this amazing, spaceship that I'm inside with my 2 floating heads next to me throughout the entire day. It's been absolutely awesome. Thank you to all the players for taking this game to new heights. It's been amazing. But most of all, thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to all my Rainbow Six talent who have been with me throughout the whole day. Tomorrow, $600,000 worth of charitable donations will be dished out to our 2 winners from our regions, and 2 winners will get that Gamers 8 spot later in the year. My name is Banks, and I'll see you tomorrow.